Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Everyone profession. Lord of the Netherworld, you become stronger by burning corpse. Chapter 31. Lu Fan happened to come out of the shower at this time. I saw Han Yanlin standing at the door. Lace pajamas with lettered black stockings, coupled with Han Yanlin's already curvy figure. She is simply enchanting and the best in the world. If an ordinary man saw it, he would rush forward and bite him like a hungry wolf. Han Yanlin is also extremely confident in her appearance. Even if she only wears her school uniform, all the boys passing by will look back at her without exception. Not to mention she was dressed so hot today. No man in the world can withstand this kind of temptation. But what she never expected was that Lu Fan walked out, frowning and saying in disgust, "Han Yanlin, you are here to serve others, why are you wearing such a hot outfit?" Han Yanlin was stunned. Don't you men all like this?" Lu Fan sneered. "Han Yanlin, you really think highly of yourself. You don't really think that just because you are pretty, you can go to bed with me. Are you worthy? Let me tell you, I asked you to come here today because I really want to serve you, people." Then Lu Fan took Han Yanlin to the room, stripped naked and lay on the bed. "Come on, rub my back first." Han Yanlin was stunned again and hesitated. I won't." "No, then let's learn now." Lu Fan turned on the TV and played back pressing teaching. Han Yanlin looked at the picture on the TV and breathed a sigh of relief. In her opinion, just a massage would be better than doing something shameful. She climbed onto the bed, spread her legs, and slowly sat on Lu Fan's butt. Both hands imitated the techniques shown on TV and began to knead Lu Fan. I really didn't expect that the daughter of the Han family has good skills. Have you ever considered working in a footbath shop in the future? Han Yanlin bit her red lips and said nothing in humiliation. But at this moment, Lu Fan reached over with one hand and placed it on Han Yanlin's thigh. Han Yanlin trembled violently and exclaimed, "Lu Fan, what are you doing?" Lu Fan smiled coldly. After Lu Fan said this, he ran his hand along the inner side of Han Yanlin's thigh. Han Yanlin made a muffled sound and almost moaned. You must know that she has just grown up this year and has not yet experienced anything between a man and a woman. Lu Fan's electric shock just now was too intense. But Han Yanlin didn't want to make a lustful cry in front of Lu Fan, so she could only suppress it forcefully. "Lu Fan, don't go too far. Is it too much? Han Yanlin, is it too much for you to come to the Lu family to break off the engagement? I tell you, the excessive things are yet to come." Lu Fan rubbed his fingers, making Han Yanlin moan. His body couldn't stop twisting. She wanted to resist, to stop. But her father's words came back to her mind. For the sake of her family, she could only grit her teeth and endure. He was rubbed by Lu Fan for 3 minutes. At this time, Han Yanlin's cheeks were red, her expression was blurred, and she was a little dizzy. For some reason, she actually began to actively want to do that kind of thing in her heart at this moment. Unexpectedly, Lu Fan suddenly stopped what he was doing and stood up to put on his clothes. Suddenly pulled Han Yanlin out of the room, who was in a mood. Han Yanlin was originally burning with desire and wanted Lu Fan to do something with her quickly. But she didn't expect Lu Fan to stop suddenly and make her feel uncomfortable. "Lu Fan, what on earth are you going to do?" Lu Fan had a smile on his face. "You should be panicking now. I did it on purpose. This is your punishment for not coming here tonight consciously." After Lu Fan said that, he took Han Yanlin to the room opposite Zhang Shui. "Now, I have something to do and I have to leave for a while. Your next task is to take care of the people in the room." Han Yanlin was completely panicked now. You must know that Lu Fan is the same age as her no matter what, and he looks pretty good. If his first time was taken away by Lu Fan, he would barely be able to accept it. But if she was taken away by a strange and ugly man, she would rather commit suicide immediately. Lu Fan naturally saw Han Yanlin's worry and said with a smile, "Don't worry, the girl is the same age as us. Just go in and rub her shoulders and legs like you did before. It's simple, right?" When Han Yanlin heard that she was a girl of the same age, she felt relieved again. Then the door was opened. Zhang Shui walked out after taking a shower. At this time, Han Yanlin and Zhang Shui looked at each other, and both of them were stunned. Han Yanlin is the beauty of No. 1 middle school, so Zhang Shui naturally knows her. Lu Fan, why is she here? Are you and her? Zhang Shui seemed to realize something and immediately bowed her head and apologized. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were boyfriend and girlfriend. I'll leave right away. Lu Fan took Zhang Shui's hand. Don't talk nonsense, she is not my girlfriend, she is just someone I found to serve you. Huh, Lu Fan, what are you talking about? I don't need anyone to take care of me. I can be alone. You can give me such a good house. I am already very satisfied. How can I dare to be taken care of? However, Han Yanlin on the side was completely shocked. Lu Fan, are you crazy? This person was kicked out of the Zhang family. After all, I am the daughter of the Zhang family, and you actually asked me to serve her. Lu Fan's expression darkened, and the ghost fire in his right hand rose fiercely. He looked at Han Yanlin and said coldly, I just want to ask you, can you serve me well? When Han Yanlin saw the will-o'-the-wisp, she thought of Wu Qi who was burned to ashes, and was horrified. Can. Han Yanlin bit her red lips tightly. I thought to myself, Lu Fan, just wait for me. When Professor Zhuang comes tomorrow, we will see how you die. It's good if you can. If I come back later and know that you didn't serve me wholeheartedly, you know what will happen. Lu Fan said, turned around and threw a brand new Huawei mobile phone to Zhang Shui, and said with a smile, Xiao Shui, I have something to go out. If you need anything, call me. Ah good. Lu Fan rode the underworld wolf to his father Lu Bice's residence. Because he plans to leave Kangnan City tomorrow and go to the demonic mountains to kill monsters. So I am going to ask tonight clearly what happened to my mother back then and why she died. Coincidentally, Lu Bice just returned from the Lu group at this time. The two met immediately. Lu Fan, why are you here? I was going to find you after dinner. I just discovered something important in the group. Lu Bice said with a solemn expression. Lu Fan was startled. What's up? I noticed something strange about Great Elder Lu Moji. Lu Bice brought Lu Fan into the house and asked all the servants to retreat. Lu Fan looked confused when he saw this. I thought it was just Lu Moji, what could be important? At this time, Lu Bice said with a serious face. Lu Fan, I discovered that the Great Elder Lu Moji is probably the man in black robe who attacked us with Bai Jia today. Lu Fan was startled. No way, just that good for nothing Lu Moji. The attack method of the man in black robe today is at least level 40 and above. Lu Bice shook his head. We were all deceived by Lu Moji, or in other words, the current Lu Moji is not the real Lu Moji at all. The real Lu Moji has most likely been killed, and the current one is someone else pretending to be. When Lu Fan heard this, he frowned slightly. Hearing what his father said, he seemed to feel that the Great Elder's temperament had changed drastically in recent years. Lu Bice continued. Today I saw the energy arrow fired by the man in black robe, and I felt familiar, but I couldn't remember where I had seen it before. It wasn't until later on when I was on my way back to the group that I suddenly remembered that I had seen Lu Moji use it once before. Later, I immediately rushed back to the group, and sure enough I found that Lu Moji was not there. Quote. When Lu Fan heard this, he couldn't help but take a deep breath. If Lu Moji is the man in black who attacked us today, it would be terrible. This enemy has infiltrated into our interior. Lu Bice nodded. After I found out, I didn't dare to neglect at all. I immediately led a group of clan members to Lu Moji's house to search for evidence. Did you find anything? No, Lu Moji's home is very simple and there is nothing suspicious about it. Quote. But, this is also the most suspicious thing. You have to know that a normal person will have some shady things in his family, but he has none at all, so I am even more convinced that there is definitely something wrong with this Lu Moji. Quote. Immediately afterwards, Lu Bice took out a recording box from his space backpack and placed it on the table. Lu Fan was stunned and asked, what is this? Lu Bice smiled proudly. Although Lu Moji kept his house clean and left no clues, he forgot one thing. In this high-tech era, phone call recordings can be traced. Then Lu Bice clicked on the recording box, and there was a recording of the call between Lu Moji and Bai Jia. It turned out that Lu Moji and Bai Jia both came from an organization called the Dark Temple. The two of them are lurking here in disguise, with the purpose of getting the Ring of Hades left by Lu Fan's mother. Lu Fan nodded. It seems now that they won't give up until they get the ring, and they will definitely come to our door after a while. You must be careful, Lu Fan. After all, we are in the light and they are in the dark. And you can also see that those people are good at disguise and can even change the displayed level and occupation. Logically speaking, it is not easy to change the level and profession. In the professional illustration, there is no profession that can do it, so this ability is probably a special profession in the Dark Temple that has not been recorded. Possess the ability. Lu Fan said, flipping his right hand, the dark green ring of Hades appeared. All equipment on a professional can be actively controlled to be displayed or hidden. Most people will hide it to prevent others from coveting their equipment. Lu Fan stroked the ring and said in a deep voice. But father, don't worry too much. With my current strength, even a level 50 expert is no match for me. Oh, so fierce. Although Liu Base knew that Lord Netherworld was a perverted profession, he didn't expect him to be so perverted. You can reach level 50 in just over 20 levels. Lu Fan nodded. It is indeed very powerful, but if you encounter a truly strong person, I'm afraid it's still not enough. So I plan to leave Kangnan City tomorrow and go to a more advanced place to experience. Liu Base was startled. Where are you going? The demonic mountains south of Linhai City. Demon Mountains. Liu Base took a deep breath. That is a real danger zone. It is said that every monster will actively attack humans, and has intelligence comparable to humans. Countless professionals die there every year. Lu Fan smiled and nodded. I know, but the greater the risk, the greater the reward. Looking at the whole of China, there is only one place that is most suitable for me. Liu Beis's eyes were still worried. The demonic mountains are in a dangerous zone and there is no systematic security protection. Professionals killed there will lose their equipment and items. Therefore, not only do you have to be wary of monsters there, but you must also be wary of humans. And the Dark Temples, if people knew where you were going, they would definitely send strong men to kill you. I understand, but it is precisely because of the fight against the Dark Temple that I have to improve my strength faster. Otherwise, waiting for death in Kangnan City will only lead to a dead end. When Liu Base heard this, he sighed helplessly. Well, now that you have decided, my father won't say anything. But my father is really reluctant to let you go. Once you leave, I don't know when we will see you again. Lu Fan patted his father and said with a smile. Don't worry, father, I will only go there for a month. I will be back for the National College entrance examination next month. By then, I will let everyone know what a real genius is. Okay, father believes in you. By the way, Dad, there's one thing I have to figure out before I leave. Lu Fan's expression suddenly became serious. When Liu Base saw this, he also guessed something. It's about your mother. Well, how did my mother die and who killed her? Liu Base let out a long sigh. It's indeed time to tell you, but actually I don't know much, because when your mother appeared, she was already covered with all kinds of negative states, including burning, poisoning, bleeding, paralysis, and deceleration, corroded, sealed, etc., at least a dozen kinds. Lu Fan was stunned when he heard this. Such an exaggeration. Liu Base smiled bitterly. That's not all. The most exaggerated thing is that the duration of these states is actually permanent. What? There is actually a permanent negative state in this world. Lu Fan took a deep breath. He didn't expect such a thing to exist in this world. Dozens of negative buffs, or are they permanent? In other words, the mother was hurt by these negative conditions until she died. That's right. Lu Fan frowned slightly. That's not right, father. According to my understanding of this profession, even if there are continuous injuries, you will not die so easily. Liu Beis's nose suddenly felt sore at this moment, and his eyes filled with tears. You were right. I have seen how powerful your mother is. Unfortunately, those negative buffs are too powerful. Lu Fan was stunned. What happened? Among the buffs your mother had at that time, the continuous damage type was not the most deadly. The most deadly was that there were two states in it, namely, forbidden magic and sealed objects. As soon as these words came out, Lu Fan immediately trembled. Forbidden demons and sealed objects. He has been familiar with illustrated books for 3 years in high school, so he naturally understands these two states. Forbidden magic, unable to use skills. Sealed items, unable to use items. Although both states are extremely abnormal, they generally do not last long. But if the mother is permanently buffed, it would be a bit scary, as if she was disabled. I remember when I found your mother, she was lying on the roadside with a huge belly and a look of despair on her face. I couldn't bear it, so I tried to use the purification technique on her, hoping to help her. Unexpectedly, I actually helped her purify part of the buff. These include forbidden magic and sealed objects. At that time, your mother looked at me in disbelief and said that even the most powerful purifier in China could not purify her condition. Then she immediately regained hope of living. She teleported me to an alien space. Then I frantically took medicine to replenish my blood and mana, and even raised my hand to summon countless terrifying creatures that I had never seen before. What impressed me the most was the group of green flame flying dragons soaring in the sky. Each flying dragon is as huge as a mountain, and its whole body is burning with blazing green flames. It was like burning moving islands passing through the sky, extremely shocking. But what surprised your mother and me was that not long after, the part of buff that was originally purified reappeared. No matter how many times it is purified, the buff will reappear. Unfortunately, you were about to be born at that time. Fortunately, your mother was strong enough to bear those buffs and give birth to you. Later, I stayed with your mother and used purification to help her extend her life. It's just that the good times don't last long. Those buffs are recovering faster and faster, and the intervals are getting shorter and shorter. Soon after, your mother died. Before she died, she repeatedly told me not to tell you anything about her if you did not inherit her career. Quote. After listening to his father's words, Lu Fan also fell into deep thought, and after a long time he said, "Father, who put the buff on mother, what happened, and who has the strength to cast such a terrifying buff?" "It's the Abyss Demon Lord, the most powerful monster in the world." "What? 20 years ago, the Abyss Demon Lord awakened and led the Abyss Army to invade China. In order to protect China, the strong men of the human race mobilized one after another and launched an unprecedented battle with the Abyssal Army. In the end, the Abyss Demon Lord was defeated, but your mother and other powerful humans were also seriously injured. Not long after, more than a dozen top human race experts, including your mother, all died one after another." Quote. Hiss. Lu Fan took a breath. He didn't expect such a shocking battle to have happened 20 years ago. What was my mother's level at that time? Level 99. It's so high. I remember that the strongest professional in China today, Swordmaster Li Mobai, seems to be only level 95. It is precisely because of that war that all the top experts fell, so now the strongest person in the human race is only level 95. Then my mother has nothing else left for me except that ring. You know, a level 99 strong man must have a lot of good things in his backpack. Lu Base frowned, as if he was remembering something. All right. However, my guess is that she probably left everything in that alien space, but only your mother knows how to enter that space. Another space. Lu Fan pondered. He felt that this alien space was probably something that the Netherlord could only comprehend after breaking through a certain level. I understand, Father, thank you for telling me this. Lu Fan, in fact, your mother's wish is that you can grow up safely and healthily. Of course, this is also my wish. Lu Fan smiled lightly. Father, I know, but living in troubled times, if you want to survive, you have to be strong. All right. Lu Base took out a bottle of 1982 Motai from the safe. Since you and I, father and son, are about to part ways tonight, then we won't return until we get drunk. Okay, I won't come back until I'm drunk. Then, Lu Fan and his father drank and chatted happily for a long time. By the time I got home drunk, it was already late at night. Lu Fan came to Zhang Shui's room and saw through the gap that Zhang Shui and Han Yanlin were sleeping inside. But what Lu Fan didn't expect was, Han Yanlin actually slept on the bed, while Zhang Shui slept on the floor. Lu Fan was already in a bad mood, and he was even more furious when he saw this. After entering, he pulled Han Yanlin up and whispered, Han Yanlin, are you looking for death? I asked you to come here to serve Xiaoshui, but you put me on my bed and let Xiaoshui sleep on the floor. Han Yanlin woke up from her dream. It took her a long time to recover, and she said aggrievedly, No, Lu Fan, please listen to my explanation. I let Sister Yanlin sleep on the bed. Lu Fan, it's like this. Your bed is too soft. I'm really not used to sleeping on it, so. Forehead. Only then did Lu Fan realize that Zhang Shui had been sleeping under the bridge. Ahem, that's right. Lu Fan coughed twice to hide his embarrassment. But then Han Yanlin was dragged out. Xiao Shui, you go to sleep first, Han Yanlin and I still have something to say. Good. Xiao Shui was simple by nature and had never interacted with others, so she naturally didn't know what Lu Fan meant. But Han Yanlin felt bad, because she smelled the strong smell of alcohol on Lu Fan. As expected, Lu Fan took Han Yanlin to a hidden room. The soundproofing effect of this room is very good, even if you shout at your throat, you can't hear it from outside. Lu Fan, what are you going to do? Didn't you say today that I'm not worthy of sleeping with you? Han Yanlin roared, as if she wanted to use what Lu Fan said to save herself. However, Lu Fan ignored her and tore apart Han Yanlin's lace pajamas and pushed her onto the bed. I'm very angry now. Lu Fan, don't mess around. This is my first time. First time, that's even better. I'll let you experience what is the bliss on earth. Han Yanlin would never have thought that her words just now not only failed to make Lu Fan stop. On the contrary, it made him even more excited. Lu Fan took off all his clothes and pressed his whole body towards Han Yanlin. While kissing, she kneaded Han Yanlin's erect breasts with her hands. At the same time, the other hand traveled down, stroking the slim and slender legs wearing black silk stockings with Balenciaga letters. In the end, Lu Fan unscrupulously explored the inside of his thigh. The intense pleasure made Han Yanlin couldn't help but moan. This moment completely ignited Lu Fan's animal desires. Get up and spread Han Yanlin's legs. Lu Fan, don't. Not possible here. Han Yanlin begged for mercy like crazy. But Lu Fan ignored him at all and pressed in hard. Lu Fan, you beast. A million words omitted from the details. That night, the two fought a total of 7 times. Lu Fan didn't give up until Han Yanlin was knocked unconscious. Early next morning, warm sunlight streamed into the room. Lu Fan stretched and woke up from the bed. At this time, Han Yanlin was lying naked next to her. Lu Fan looked at the beauty lying beside him and couldn't help but shake his head and smile bitterly. Han Yanlin, I gave you a chance but you didn't use it. You have to look down on others and break off the engagement. Now it's too late for you to regret it. But this is not enough. When I become the strongest in China in the future, I'm afraid you will know what true regret is. I will leave Kangnan City today. Last night was just a parting gift to you. Quote. Lu Fan said, got up, got dressed and was about to leave. But at this moment, his father Lu Bice's voice suddenly came from outside. Lu Fan, oh no, something happened. Lu Fan ran out immediately. Just now, the Wu family from Linhai City led a large number of people to smash up the Lu Group building. What? Linhai Wu family? Why did they do this? Because the head of the Linhai Wu family is Wu Qi's father. Quote. Lu Fan was stunned. I didn't expect Wu Qi to have such a background. The family news group has exploded, please take a look. As he spoke, Lu Bice took out his cell phone, opened the family group message, and handed it to Lu Fan. There are many images and video messages sent by clan members. Lu Fan was shocked when he saw it. The Wu family not only smashed and burned the Lu Group building, but also wantonly slaughtered the Lu family members. The scene was filled with blood and flames were shooting into the sky. It looked like hell. Due to the prestige of the Wu family in Linhai City, the law enforcement officers in Kangnan City did not dare to stop them and could only watch the Wu family act recklessly. At this time, many clan members were already calling out to Lu Fan in the message group. He said that Wu Qi was killed by Lu Fan and asked him to come out and pay for his mistake. He also said that he was advised not to kill him at that time, but he refused to listen and insisted on going his own way. This time he offended the wrong people. Some people are even sarcastic, saying that Lu Fan can only bully the weak, but when he encounters a truly strong person, the Wu family, the giant of Linhai City, becomes a coward and dare not show up. At this time, Han Yanlin also woke up, leaned on the wall from the room, and quietly hid behind the door to peek. As soon as she heard that it was the Wu family from Linhai City who came to avenge Wu Qi, Han Yanlin couldn't help but have a sneer on her lips. Lu Fan, your retribution has finally come. The Wu family is the #1 family in Linhai City and has great strength. I wonder how you will die now. How dare you play with me like this last night? You beast. Looking at the series of messages in the family message group, Lu Fan's face became extremely gloomy. He raised his hand to directly summon the underworld wolf and jumped up. Father, let's go. Today, I want to bloodbath the Wu family. Hundreds of Wu family members gathered here. It can be said that the momentum is overwhelming. Where's that Lu Fan? Get him out quickly. The head of the Wu family, Wu Shang, roared angrily, grabbed a member of the Lu family at his feet, and killed him with a single blow. If you don't come out again, I will kill all these Lu family members, leaving no one alive. At this time, both sides of the street were already lined with people watching. The other two aristocratic families, the Han family and the Jang family, also came here after hearing the news and watched the show with gloating. Han Tianai even sent a message to his daughter. Yanlin, are you okay? Professor Zhuang has asked the Wu family to come over for revenge. We can finally be free. Father, I almost died last night. Lu Fan is an absolute beast. What did he do to you? He played with me 7 times. What? That boy is so fierce. Oh no, that boy is really a horse and not a human being. Don't you know how to show mercy and cherish the jade? But don't worry, looking at things like this today, the Wu family will definitely not give up until they kill Lu Fan. He is dead today. Father, I just saw that Lu Fan has passed. I have to go there now. If Lu Fan dies later, I will whip the corpse. At this time, the head of the Zhang family, Zhang Yunshan, also led the Zhang clan here. He went out to discuss business yesterday and just came back this morning. But I happened to run into this drama. At this time, he was smoking a cigar while happily imagining how to quickly carve up the Lu family's properties after the Lu family was destroyed. At this moment, the eldest elder of the Zhang family suddenly walked forward and whispered. Family head, it is said that yesterday, Zhang Shui, the one who was kicked out of the family by us, awakened the legendary SSS. As soon as these words came out, the cigar in Zhang Yunshan's hand fell to the ground. What did you say? Zhang Shui, legendary SSS. You are not mistaken. I heard it from the principal of number 1 middle school, and many people saw it with their own eyes. It should be true. Where is Zhang Shuiren now? Bring her back to the family quickly. I heard from the principal that after Zhang Shui woke up, she left with Lu Fan from the Lu family. Lu Fan, is this the Lu Fan that the Wu family is looking for? That's right. If he comes later, you should pay attention quickly, but don't involve Zhang Shui in it. As you command. Zhang Yunshan lit another cigar and took a deep breath. Legendary SSS. My ancestor of the Zhang family has finally appeared. As long as we can bring Zhang Shui back, my Zhang family will surely soar to the sky. In front of the Lu group, all the Lu clan members were bound by shackles and kneeling on the ground. Wu Shang, the head of the Wu family, looked gloomy and arrested another member of the Lu clan. Lu Fan, you're not coming out yet, are you? Then don't wait, let's start the killing. However, the words just fell. Lu Fan descended from the sky riding a huge underworld wolf. Old dog of the Wu family, if you dare to touch my people, you are seeking death. Lu Fan appeared riding a huge netherworld wolf. The people around me were stunned. After a day of fermentation, Lu Fan's legendary deeds yesterday have spread among the masses. Kill the Lu family's thugs instantly at the auction venue. On the top floor of the Lu group, he killed Wu Qi from Qingyan Academy and divorced Han Yanlin as a concubine. Let Han Tianai and the Han family bow their heads and expel Lu Zontian from the family. In the outdoor dungeon square, broke the record of 3 dungeons in a row. It can be said that everything here is enough to cause a sensation in the entire Kangnan city. Not to mention that a high school student who had just awakened to F level did these things in one day. Therefore, most people cannot believe that these rumors are true. Unless they see Lu Fan's strength with their own eyes today. At this time, in front of the gate of Hearthstone Group, hundreds of captured Lu clan members saw Lu Fan arriving. Everyone seemed to have seen a savior and shouted to Lu Fan for help. However, he was kicked to the ground by the Wu family members on the side and stepped on the faces of every Lu family member. Many of the Wu family members laughed uproariously and said sarcastically, as expected of a small family from a third-tier city, they are stupid enough to place all their hopes on a young boy. That's right, do you really think that this kid is so awesome if he can defeat our young master? He's a frog in the well, croak croak. No matter how evil this kid is, he is still alone. He can only try to save people from hundreds of members of our Wu family. It is simply a dream. At this time, Wu Shang, the head of the Wu family, stepped forward with a broadsword in his hand and roared. Lu Fan, you finally showed up. Today I will let everyone know what will happen if you dare to touch my son Wu Shang. Wu Shang waved his hand, signaling the tribesmen behind him to attack. Seeing the head of the family giving the order, the Wu family members did not dare to neglect, and they all used their skills to attack Lu Fan. Lu Fan, be careful, the Wu family is the #1 family in Linhai and has great strength. Lu Base shouted from the side. Don't worry, father, just retreat far away and watch my performance. Lu Fan looked indifferent, raised his hand and summoned 6 hell dogs. After the upgrade, the Hades also grew in size, from the previous 3 meters to 4 meters. It is 2 or 3 stories high, blocking the attack of hundreds of Wu family members. At this moment, everyone in the Wu family was dumbfounded. What's going on? Didn't we agree that there is only one? Yeah, why are there 6 now? The information is wrong. But no matter how many there are, hundreds of us attack at the same time, how come these big dogs don't even take away their health bars? This guy is too evil. The corner of Wu Shang, the head of the Wu family, also twitched slightly. He has been in the world for 30 years and has seen powerful summoners. But even if the summoner is level 50, it is impossible for the summoned beast to withstand the attack of hundreds of Wu family members without losing blood. Lu Fan put his hands behind his back and stood proudly above the head of the underworld wolf. Looking at the Wu family members who were suddenly panicking in front of them, they couldn't help but sneered. What kind of bullshit Linhai Wu family dares to come to my territory and run wild with this little ability? You are just looking for death. After Lu Fan said this, the ghostly fire on his right hand rose up fiercely and hit Wu Shang, the head of the Wu family. If this blow hits, Wu Shang will be reduced to ashes in seconds. But what he didn't expect was that Wu Shang was on guard and actually took out a stand-in doll from his backpack. Stand-in doll, a 5th level advanced prop, can be used to create a doll with a health value of 1, which can be used to attract fire or resist single target skill damage. Wu Shang used a stand-in doll to stand in front of him and blocked Lu Fan's ghost fire. That's right, although Lu Fan's Netherworld fire explodes in damage, its setting is single target damage. Therefore, even if the doll's health value is only 1, it can still block it. Lu Fan was slightly startled. He was familiar with the prop illustrations and was no stranger to this doll. However, as a top-grade item in the 5th level, the production process is extremely complicated and the price is extremely expensive. And due to the huge demand, it will be snapped up once it goes on the market. Therefore, they are often priceless and extremely rare. Lu Fan saw the real thing with his own eyes for the first time today. It has to be said that Linhai City, as the top metropolis in Jiangnan Province, is indeed far better than Kangnan City in terms of rare items. At this time, Wu Shang laughed proudly. Lu Fan, you don't think that I came here without preparation. The fact that you can kill my talented son is enough to attract my attention. I have already asked about it. You are good at using single target fire spells to deal with enemies. Bar. Wu Shang laughed and took out 10 stand-in dolls from his backpack. Look, these are all prepared for you. My Wu family has nothing but money and resources. You may not get a stand-in doll like this with all your efforts, but to me it's as cheap as an egg. Lu Fan couldn't help but smile coldly when he saw this. How did you, an old dog like you, become the head of the family when you were so stupid? You really don't think you can fight me with this broken doll in your hand, do you? What did you say? Wu Shang has been the darling of the Wu family since he was a child. Growing up, others have always knelt down to him and he has yelled at others. This is the first time today that I have been scolded like this, and I am still a young boy. Little fool, I swear to kill you today. Blood knife technique. Wu Shang roared angrily, and the sword in his hand flashed with scarlet blood. In an instant, a pungent smell of blood filled the space. This is Weeping Blood Warrior. Zhang Yunshan, the head of the Zhang family, recognized this person's occupation at a glance. Weeping Blood Warrior. S-level career. It is one of the few professions without blue bars. All skills are at the cost of health, and the lower the remaining health points, the higher the damage. It is called a life-burning profession by the outside world. Although using blood as the price will increase the risk of death, the exchange is for its super high burst damage. Moreover, the Weeping Blood Warrior is born with the passive talent of blood sucking. Part of the attack and skill damage will be converted into health points to heal himself. Because of this, the continuous combat ability of this profession is extremely terrifying. You can often defeat 1 against 100, and you will still be at full health after the kill. Back then, Wu Shang relied on this terrifying talent to kill other aristocratic families in Linhai City and surrendered to him. The Wu family has now become the real #1 family in Linhai City. Wu Shang had already seen Lu Fan's strength with his own eyes at this time, and he knew very well that although the boy in front of him was arrogant, he did have some ability. So for the next strike, he will go all out and leave no stone unturned. The secret art of blood. Blood demon god. As Wu Shang roared in a deep voice, his entire body began to glow with scarlet blood. At this time, when the rest of the Wu family saw this, their faces were filled with horror. I didn't expect that the head of the family would even activate the blood demon god. It seems that this kid Lu Fan will definitely die today. Blood demon god. This is a unique skill learned by the family leader at level 40, which can fully double one's attributes. Now, let's see how this kid Lu Fan survives. The master of the house is mighty. The master of the house is awesome. At this time, everyone in the Wu family saw their master directly using the strongest move, and their momentum instantly rose. When the head of the Han family, Han Tianai, saw this, he covered his mouth and snickered in the corner. I immediately sent a message to inform my daughter. Come Yan Lan, Lu Fan is going to die soon. Okay father, I have stolen Lu Fan's Rolls Royce and am on my way here. Han Tianai felt that he was not relieved enough, so he took out his mobile phone and pressed video recording, preparing to record the entire process of Lu Fan's death. The head of the Jang family, Zhang Yunshan, immediately turned around and ordered his subordinates. Let everyone prepare to seize all the Lu family's assets immediately after Lu Fan is killed. People were also sent to look for traces of Zhang Shui. This side, Wu Shang's whole body was shining with red light. His level information and career information are also displayed on the top of his head. Shockingly, he is level 49, a blood-weeping warrior. However, Wu Shang did not dare to delay after using the blood demon god. Although this move can double all of one's attributes, it does so at the cost of burning 10% of one's health per second. Moreover, the blood knife technique performed at the beginning also continued to lose blood. Therefore, he did not dare to delay and could not delay. The battle must end within 10 seconds. Without any nonsense, Wu Qi raised his sword and rushed towards Lu Fan. After doubling all attributes, agility also skyrocketed. In one breath, he teleported behind Lu Fan. Go to hell, Lu Fan. Weep and bleed endlessly. Weeping Blood Wuji is an active skill learned by the Weeping Blood Warrior at level 40. It can only be used when in the Blood Demon God state, consuming 50% of the current HP to cause massive damage to the target. And the lower the current health value, the higher the damage. Wu Qi was extremely confident in the damage his sword could do. What's more, this young boy who just changed jobs. But in the next second, everyone in the audience was shocked. Wu Qi's sword fell, but Lu Fan's blood remained intact. How is it possible? This sword caused at least 600,000 damage, how did you block it? Lu Fan smiled coldly. A group of ants also want to shake the tree like a cricket, but they don't know that as long as I take a little action, you will be at your limit. Netherworld Flame Pillar. Lu Fan raised his right hand slightly. Only a loud bang was heard. The flames of hell soared into the sky and pierced the sky. Wu Shang subconsciously wanted to use a stand-in doll, but it had no effect at all. This move deals a range of damage and turns everything it passes into ashes. Then, everyone in the Wu family had not yet recovered from the shock. Lu Fan waved his right hand fiercely again. Ghost Wolf, let's kill. I saw two giant invisible wolves suddenly appearing among the crowd of the Wu family. What followed was a frenzied killing spree. The underworld wolf tore these ants apart with one claw at a time. At this time, the people watching didn't even react. The famous Wu family in Linhai City has been completely wiped out. Han Tianai was so frightened that he trembled all over, and the cell phone he was recording fell to the ground in fright. Zhang Yunshan also looked stunned, completely unable to believe what was happening in front of him. Lu Fan was seen standing proudly on top of the underworld wolf with his hands behind his back, overlooking the people around him, and shouted. At this time, everyone around was too frightened to say a word, and the whole place was dead silent. Only a Rolls-Royce was approaching at high speed in the distance, but somehow it lost control and crashed onto the road. Lu Fan turned his head to look and couldn't help but laugh out loud. The driver of the Rolls-Royce was none other than Han Yanlin. When she drove over, she saw that Lu Fan was still alive, but the Wu family had been wiped out. The car overturned in a moment of confusion. But Lu Fan was not interested in paying attention to this brainless woman now. He had enjoyed himself 7 times last night. Lu Fan turned around and said hello to his father, then disappeared from everyone's sight while riding the underworld wolf. Lu Base looked at Lu Fan's retreating figure and felt a sense of reluctance in his heart. But he knew in his heart that the moment Lu Fan inherited his mother's career, his life is destined to be extraordinary. Destined not to stay in this small town. Even in the near future, his name, Lu Fan, will be resounding throughout the entire land of China. Lu Fan came to Kangnan City's number 1 auction house. Because we are about to head to the dangerous demonic mountains, he must be fully prepared before this happens. The most important of these is the elixir that restores health and magic points. Especially the elixir that restores magic value. Because Lu Fan now has 100% blood-sucking ability, plus 6 hell dogs to bear the damage, he is not particularly worried about his health. The main thing is the magic value. Although Lu Fan's magic value now reaches a terrifying million. But he is familiar with the professional illustrations and knows that many professions have the ability to absorb blue and cut blue. So he must be fully prepared. In the VIP waiting room, concubine Hong, who was wearing a red cheongsam, saw Lu Fan coming and immediately came out to receive him warmly. Hey, the distinguished guest has arrived, it's hard to welcome him from afar. Lu Fan put his hand into the depths of Hong Fei's slit thighs, caressed her wantonly and said, Hong Fei, I'm leaving here soon. I'm afraid I won't be able to see your seductive legs for a while. Ah, are you leaving? Where are you going? Didn't I just hear that you are going to take charge of the Lu family? Which fool spread this nonsense? My father is in charge of the Lu family now. I'm going to the demonic mountains to level up. I'm here to say hello to you and buy some elixirs by the way. Ah, the demonic mountains, that place is so dangerous. Concubine Hong had a worried look on her face. Don't worry about it. Lu Fan's hand touched deeper and deeper, causing concubine Hong to gasp a little. Lu Fan. How long are you going to go this time? Just 1 month. I'll be back next month after the National College entrance examination. Okay, then I need to do something for you. Give me all the 4th grade elixirs, blood revitalizing pills and Qingling Qi rejuvenating powders from your auction. Then you can help me arrange other auctions in Kangnan City, including big and small ones. Maybe bring me these 2 elixirs. The red concubine nodded. Okay, I'll send someone to look for it right away, but this is a 4th grade elixir. It's extremely rare. I'm afraid there aren't many in the entire city. Concubine Hong said and immediately called her men to take care of it. It's okay. Anyway, just take as much as you can. As for the money, you can calculate it and send it to me. I will transfer it to my father to you later. Mr. Lu, why are you so polite to me? By the way, I looted the epic suit from the collection pavilion before. Boss Shu didn't punish you, right? Of course not. We all know it was you who did it, so he can only remain mute and eat coptus chinensis. Lu Fan laughed. Don't worry, tell Boss Shu that I will return the suit to him when I come back next month. The other side, Qingyan Academy. Flame Dharma King Zhuangyan was visiting Wu Qi at his bedside. Wu Qi, don't worry, your father has gone to help you get revenge. I believe there will be news soon. Wu Qi nodded weakly, although he was successfully resurrected. But the price was huge. Not only did his level drop by 10 levels, but he was also given an extremely serious weakness buff, which lasted for a month. At this moment, Zhuang Zheng's cell phone rang. When he picked up the call, he found it was Wu Qi's mother. He just heard him crying and shouting, "Professor Zhuang, you have to help me." "What's wrong, sister-in-law, what happened?" "Just now, our Wu family members who went to Kangnan were all wiped out." "What did you say?" Zhuang Yan looked horrified. The Wu family is the first aristocratic family in Linhai City. There are nearly 300 strong people in the clan, of which at least 50 are above level 30. There are at least 5 powerful people above level 40. The head of the Wu family, Wu Shang, is a top level 49 expert. Looking at the entire Jiangnan, there are few people below level 50 who can match him. Even a level 50 expert can't kill him easily. How could such a powerful force be completely wiped out? "Sister-in-law, are you kidding me?" Zhuang Yan asked in disbelief. The young woman on the other end of the phone was still crying. "I didn't believe it at first, but I saw the video sent from the scene. It was indeed wiped out by the group. I really don't know what I should do." Wu Qi, who was on the hospital bed at this time, also realized something was wrong and hurriedly asked, "What's wrong, teacher, has something happened?" Zhuang Yan knew that he must not let Wu Qi know about his family being wiped out now. So he immediately adjusted his emotions, suppressed his inner excitement, and said calmly, "Don't worry Wu Qi, it's nothing serious. The teacher will go out for a while, so you can rest in peace and recover." After saying solemnly, he stood up and left, arriving at a remote corner. "Sister-in-law, don't worry. No matter what, Brother Wu and I have known each other for many years, and you are my first love. I will definitely take care of this matter to the end. Zheng Yan, I am helpless now, you are the only one left now. Don't worry, Zhao Hong, as long as I'm here, nothing will happen to you and Wu Qi. You can send me the video of the scene first, and I'll take a look at it before making a decision." Good. The other side. With the help of concubine Hong, Lu Fan obtained a lot of blood reviving pills and Qingling Qi reviving powder. In addition to the part he got from the collection pavilion, Lu Fan now has a total of 80 blood nourishing and rejuvenating pills and 100 Qingling Qi reviving powders. This amount is enough for him to use for a month. Saying goodbye to concubine Hong, Lu Fan rode the underworld wolf to Kangnan City Airport. Today's world is completely invaded by monsters. In order to prevent monsters from invading cities where humans live, an extremely powerful protective shield surrounds the edge of every city. But because of this, residents in the city cannot come in and out freely. The entire body of the spacecraft is made of special materials, and the surface of the fuselage is covered with special runes placed by the Empire's powerful men. Once the monster gets close, the runes will be activated, causing heavy damage. And the speed of the spacecraft is also extremely fast, up to 1,500 kilometers per hour. It only takes more than an hour to fly from Kangnan City to Linhai City. Lu Fan came to the airport and swiped his ID card to enter. Then he went to the information desk to buy a ticket to Linhai City. Unexpectedly, today's class has no tickets. Good guy, I have to say that this is Lu Fan's first time traveling far away. I didn't know this ticket was so popular. But this did not trouble Lu Fan. He has plenty of money, so he can definitely buy a ticket by going to the corresponding terminal and finding someone to pay 10 times the price. But at this moment, Zhang Yunshan, the head of the Zhang family, suddenly came over with someone. "Master Lu, I finally caught up with you." Zhang Yunshan panted. Lu Fan didn't have a good impression of the Zhang family. After all, they had forced Zhang Shui away. "Zhang Yunshan, why are you chasing me?" Zhang Yunshan smiled and bowed and said respectfully, "Master Lu, I saw your strength in the Lu group just now. Kangnan will definitely belong to your Lu family in the future. So what? Our Zhang family is willing to surrender like the Han family and hand over half of our income every year. We only hope that Master Lu can let the Zhang family go." Lu Fan was startled. It has to be said that Zhang Yunshan's judgment of the situation is much better than that of Han Tianai and Lu Zontian. After seeing Lu Fan's strength, he knew clearly that in the near future, the entire Kangnan City will belong to the Lu family. If this is the case, it is better to take the initiative to belong, and maybe there is a chance of survival. Lu Fan smiled coldly. "Zhang Yunshan, you are aware of current affairs, but if the Zhang family wants to live, it is useless to live like this." When Zhang Yunshan heard this, he suddenly panicked. Master Lu, our Jang family has never had any problems with you. Please show your kindness and let the Jang family have a way to survive. With that said, he took out a first-class ticket to Linhai City from his backpack and presented it to him. Master Lu, I just heard that you are going to Linhai City. I just have a ticket here. Lu Fan was slightly startled. How come you have it? Maybe you want to go too. I originally planned to go, but now that you need it, I will give it to you. Lu Fan didn't waste any time and took the ticket directly. Although Lu Fan could buy or grab this ticket from others later by spending some money. But it has to be said that Zhang Yunshan is far better than Han Tianai in terms of conduct. It should be a good helper for him to assist his father in managing the family in the future. Lu Fan put the ticket in his backpack and smiled lightly. Zhang Yunshan, because you are so sensible, I will give you a chance. As long as you can obtain Zhang Shui's forgiveness, I will let the Zhang family go. After Lu Fan finished speaking, without waiting for Zhang Yunshan's reply, he turned around and left, heading towards the departure hall. Zhang Yunshan was stunned for a moment, then immediately knelt on the ground and shouted. Thank you, Master Lu, for not killing me. When the rest of the Zhang family saw the clan leader kneeling, they all followed suit. They shouted in unison, Thank you, Master Lu, for not killing me. The scene was so spectacular that many passengers passing by stopped to watch in shock. However, Zhang Yunshan ignored the surprised looks of passers-by. At this moment, dignity was not worth mentioning to him, and staying alive was the most important thing. When Lu Fan disappeared around the corner, Zhang Yunshan slowly stood up and ordered. Let all the Zhang family members gather together. Go and apologize to Zhang Shui. Also, go and find the fortune teller who deceived the public back then. I want to kill him in front of Zhang Shui with my own hands. Lu Fan came to the terminal. I saw a huge spaceship parked on the wide apron outside. Its unique appearance was very similar to the UFO in science fiction movies. It was time to take off in a short while. Lu Fan checked his ticket and entered the station. Since Lu Fan was in the first-class cabin, he could go directly to the VIP channel without queuing. Under the guidance of the hot stewardess, Lu Fan entered the spaceship. But when we arrived at the room, we found that a group of villains had occupied the room in advance. Under the leadership of the hot stewardess, Lu Fan entered the spacecraft. The space inside the spaceship is very spacious, with various entertainment facilities such as movies, fitness, and internet cafes. And all fruit drinks and snacks are free for self-service. There are even various clothing and luxury stores on the second floor of the spaceship. It can be said to be a small entertainment city. But Lu Fan was naturally not interested in these. I followed the flight attendant straight to my room. Dear first-class guests, this is your room. Please enjoy your journey. If you need anything, you can call me at any time. I will be your exclusive maid. The flight attendant blinked at Lu Fan with a charming look on her face, and then opened the door for Lu Fan. What's surprising is that someone actually lives here. Lu Fan looked up and saw a dozen strange men and women having a party inside, rocking and dancing. The first-class cabin was turned into a disco. One of the tough men with tattoos all over his body saw Lu Fan coming in and unceremoniously picked up the drink bottle in his hand and smashed it. Then he shouted impatiently, "Get out!" Lu Fan turned sideways and easily dodged the bottle. What happened? Lu Fan looked at the stewardess and asked. My first reaction was that I might have entered the wrong room. However, he found that the flight attendant was already trembling with fear and pulled Lu Fan back again and again. VIP. Well, I'll take you to another room. Change. That means this room is mine. You're right. Lu Fan said coldly. The stewardess pulled Lu Fan far away, leaned into his ear and whispered. Dignified guest, this group of people is the largest gang in the demonic mountains. We can't afford to offend them. Lu Fan smiled coldly. I understand, so this room belongs to me, so I went to the right place, right? When the stewardess heard this, she immediately panicked. Judging from what Lu Fan meant, it was obvious that he was not convinced and wanted to go in and argue. VIP, I really don't dare to mess with this group of people. I've seen them before. They never buy tickets and occupy other people's rooms every time. Last time, they robbed a couple of their room. The husband refused to accept and went in to argue with them. As a result, without saying a word, they tied up the husband and beat him half to death. They even gave his wife to him in front of him. Lu Fan was startled, and then a murderous intention surged into his heart. Is there such a thing? But as far as I know, all the spaceships in the country are under the control of the Shao family in Yanjing, and it is expressly forbidden to cause trouble and fights on the spaceships, let alone kill people. Don't they care if something like this happens? When the stewardess heard this, her expression became even worse. What you said, distinguished guest, is correct. Generally speaking, it is like this. However, the leader inside is the strong man who threw the bottle at you. He is not only the first gang in the demonic mountains, but also the third leader of the Longxing world. He is from the Shao family, so he dares to be so unscrupulous. I see. Lu Fan finally figured out the whole story. So distinguished guest, listen to my advice. I will take you to another room. Although it is slightly worse than this first-class room, it is enough for you to live alone. Moreover, I will also provide you with supreme and exclusive services. You will definitely be satisfied. As the stewardess spoke, she intentionally pulled up her collar, revealing the deep ravine. However, Lu Fan just smiled coldly, turned around and entered the room again. The flight attendant panicked, knowing that someone might be killed again, so she immediately took out her walkie-talkie to notify her superiors. Elder Sha, it's bad, something happened again in the first-class cabin, it's the same group of people. At this time, Elder Sha was panting and playing poker with a new stewardess. He said impatiently, "Have you checked that person's identity?" After checking, the ticket was purchased by the head of the Jang family, one of the 3 major families in Kangnan City. Jang family, it's okay. A small family from a third-tier city just hangs up if there's nothing else to do. I'm still busy. Oh, by the way, remember to notify the cleaning staff in advance to do the cleaning. As Elder Sha said that, he hung up the phone and spoke hard to the beauty in front of him. In the room, the handsome villain was singing passionately with a microphone, but was interrupted again by Lu Fan entering again. He slowly put down the microphone, his expression gloomy to the extreme. All the men and women in the room also looked at Lu Fan, with playful expressions on their faces. Today's young people are really careless about life and death. Now they have more fun. A woman wearing a hot bright red skirt that covered her hips covered her mouth and laughed. Hey, Xiao Chang, this young man is quite handsome. Don't rush to beat him to death. Let me have a good taste first. A beautiful woman wearing a pink lace suit also wiped her lips and chuckled. A man in a mink coat said with a smile. At this time, the man covered with tattoos, known as Xiao Chang, slowly stood up with an unhappy look on his face. Boy, if I remember correctly, I gave you the phone just now. But he didn't expect that before the tough guy could finish his words, Lu Fan hit him with a shot of ghost fire. Burn directly to ashes. You even dare to rob my, Lu Fan's room, I'm tired of living. This time, all the men and women present were dumbfounded. Xiao Chang is a level 39 warrior. Even in the demonic mountains, he was a mid to upper level expert, and now he was defeated with just one move. The man in the mink coat came to his senses first and shouted. Hey, boy, do you know who he is? He is from the Shao family in Yanjing. If you dare to kill him, the Shao family will never let you go. Oh, Lu Fan said lightly, raised his hand and sent the man in the mink coat back to the west with a ghostly fire. The rest of the people were completely panicked now. Apparently they've got a real bad guy this time. Brother, don't kill me. I can do anything you want. Both your mouth and anus are fine. The woman with red buttocks knelt down and begged. The beautiful woman in the lace suit also knelt down and said, Brother, I still have children at home, please spare my life. In fact, Xiao Chang and I are not familiar with each other. Everything I do is forced. Yes, brother, we were all forced. Everyone knelt down and begged. Lu Fan smiled coldly. Okay, let's do this. You guys can clean up this place for me. Just as it was before, it will be as it is now, and I will spare you. Okay. Seeing that Lu Fan was given a chance to survive, everyone hurriedly moved to clean the room. And this terrifying scene made the flight attendant who came in to check the situation dumbfounded. Xiao Chang is dead. It was completely over now. Maybe others didn't know it, but she knew clearly that Xiao Chang was Elder Shao's grandson. Quote. Lu Fan also turned around and saw the shocked stewardess. Lu Fan smiled slightly and said, It's okay, just report it truthfully. As soon as these words came out, the stewardess was stunned. She didn't expect that her thoughts would be read. She was really debating whether to report it or not. According to her duties, she must tell Elder Sha the information. But deep in her heart, Xiao Chang committed many evil deeds and deserved his death. The young man in front of him was just eliminating evil and promoting good. VIP, please run quickly. I will report you when you get off the spacecraft and run far away. After struggling for a moment, the flight attendant whispered to Lu Fan. Lu Fan was slightly startled. He didn't expect that this flight attendant would actually consider him a stranger he had just met. You must know that if she does this, she will undoubtedly bear the consequences of not reporting it in time. Although this consequence may not be serious normally, the person who died this time had a special identity. If Lu Fan really ran away this time and failed to catch the murderer, I am afraid that the blame will eventually fall on this powerless and backgroundless stewardess. Most of them will even be killed and silenced. Lu Fan smiled and shook his head. Don't worry about me, just do as I say and report the truth truthfully. The flight attendant looked embarrassed and said nervously, let me tell you the truth, the person you just killed is the grandson of Elder Sha, the person in charge of the spaceship. If I report it, he will definitely not let you go. Because the stewardess was too nervous, she spoke a little loudly. It was heard by everyone who was cleaning the room. I saw that everyone's faces immediately showed unconcealable smiles. It turns out that Xiao Chang is Elder Shao's grandson. Now we can be saved. I said, how dare Xiao Chang be so unscrupulous? It turns out that there is still this kind of relationship, and it is really hidden deep enough. My grandson was killed, Elder Sha will definitely not let this person go. Lu Fan ignored the murmurs of the ants, but raised his eyebrows slightly and asked. What level is that Elder Sha? The flight attendant trembled and said. It is said that Elder Sha just broke through level 50 a while ago, so he was promoted by the Shao family to become the new elder to be responsible for managing the spaceships in this area. Looking at the entire Jiangnan, level 50 is the watershed for top players. To reach this level, talent, hard work, background, and luck are all indispensable. Even many professionals with S-level talents can only stop at level 49 throughout their lives. The main reason is because the 5th level breakthrough certificate is too rare. Even if Wu Shang, the head of the Wu family, has the background resources of the first family in Linhai City, he may be unlucky and may not be able to get a 5th level breakthrough certificate in his life. But if you successfully break through level 50, your whole person will undergo a transformation. Not only can powerful level 50 skills be awakened, but the wings column will also be unlocked in the equipment column. Equipping wings not only provides additional attribute bonuses, but also gives you the ability to fly freely. At this time, everyone who was cleaning the room heard that Elder Sha was level 50, and they all became more determined that this was definitely going to be saved. However, Lu Fan smiled calmly, it's only level 50, so it's okay. Just report it truthfully. Finally, after repeated confirmations from the stewardess in shock, she turned on the intercom. Elder Sha on the other end of the intercom was playing poker with the new young trainee stewardess. When he heard that his grandson Xiao Chang had died, he became so angry that he became weak. He immediately got up, put on his clothes, and rushed to Lu Fana with his men. At the same time, in a secret room on the spacecraft that is not open to the public, a woman wearing a black lace transparent dress is sitting in it. It is Sha Linglong, the daughter of the Shao family. I saw her slender white right leg folded on her left leg. She was holding a cup of high-end coffee in her right hand and sipping it while looking leisurely out the window. The spacecraft had already taken off at this time. Outside there are dreamlike and beautiful clouds. Beside him, a white-haired old man was holding a wine bottle and drinking by himself. Suddenly, a man dressed as a waiter walked in, half kneeling and said, Miss Xiao, we just received information that Elder Shao's grandson, Xiao Chang, was killed in the first-class cabin. The woman frowned slightly and said in surprise, It's a strange boy, whose identity is unknown. I understand, please step back. Yes, the waiter man left. The woman looked at the old man drinking beside her. Mr. Gu, is this the person you sent? The old drinking man known as Mr. Gu laughed. Young lady is joking. Without your instructions, how dare I act without authorization? The woman frowned slightly and said displeased Ly. Elder Gu, please don't forget the purpose of our trip. Use Xiao Chang as a hostage to force Elder Shao to vote for my father instead of the next election for the head of the Shao family. Threats of murder. Old Gu drank the wine in his hand and laughed. Miss, don't worry. I know the importance of this election and won't act recklessly. Besides, if I really want to kill someone, there is no need to borrow someone else's hand to take someone's head thousands of miles away. But in this poor and remote place, who can kill Xiao Chang and who dares to kill Xiao Chang? I don't know, but it's really not me. When the young lady heard this, her expression suddenly became a little playful. If he really isn't yours, then this would be interesting. The other side. Elder Shao had already rushed to the first-class cabin with 2 personal guards. Lu Fan didn't panic at all, standing in front of the door with his hands behind his back, waiting for the rabbit. Did you kill my grandson? Elder Shao shouted violently. Lu Fan smiled calmly. Yes, but don't worry, I will send you to reunite with him right away, of course, down below. You're looking for death. Elder Shao waved his hand, and 2 personal guards took the lead in attacking. Being able to become the personal bodyguard of the Shao family elders means that he is naturally very powerful. Both of them are level 45 spear warriors. The spear in his hand flashed with cold light, and then it shot out like a dragon. However, Lu Fan didn't even look at it. 2 ghost fires directly killed the 2 of them in midair. At this time, Lu Fan's level information and career information were also revealed. Level 23, Nether Warlock F. How is it possible? A level 23 F level professional can actually kill a level 45 warrior with 1 move. Elder Shao's eyes were full of horror. But no matter what, the other party killed his own grandson, and he will be killed here no matter what today. Boy, Xiao Chang is everything to me. No matter what evil method you use today, or sell your soul, or sign a devil's contract, I will cut you into pieces. After Elder Shao said this, he roared. The whole body is actually growing the fur of wild beasts. The old human head also transformed into a fierce and huge tiger head. A long axe shining with golden light shines in his hand. Later, level information and career information were also displayed above his head. Level 50, King of Beasts SS. The King of Beasts, SS level profession. It is a rare profession that has 2 forms. They are Beast Man form and Full Beast form respectively. And each form comes with a new set of skills. Among them, the Orc form focuses on offense, while the Full Beast form focuses more on survival. It can be said that this profession is a panacea for team members to clear dungeons. It can be used as both an output and a tank. What Elder Shao wanted at this moment was to kill Lu Fan, so what appeared at the beginning was the human animal form. The giant axe in his hand is the level 50 golden legendary quality long axe that was just rewarded by the Shao family not long ago. Elder Shao was extremely fast. In a blink of an eye, he came to Lu Fan's side, swung his long axe and smashed him towards him. The Beast King is angry. I saw a huge illusory tiger head formed on the axe blade. The terrifying power caused the surrounding space to become somewhat distorted. This scene made the stewardess and everyone hiding aside look dumbfounded. He knew in his heart that if this axe hit, Lu Fan would definitely die. However, Lu Fan looked indifferent and raised his hand to summon 6 hell dogs to deflect the damage. Then a Netherworld ghost fire hit Elder Shao steadily. You must know that Lu Fan's Netherworld ghost fire has been upgraded to level 3, and the damage per second is mental asterisk 2000%. Now Lu Fan's spirit is as high as 105,000, plus the blessing of the Ring of Hades, 100% critical hit, and the critical hit damage is 300%. The current Netherworld Wisps damage per second is as high as a terrifying 6 million. Not to mention the blessings of other scorpion poison and spiritual breaking sets. You must know that after breaking through level 50, attributes will receive a huge increase. Plus a series of updated level 50 suits. Therefore, the health value will also be greatly increased. But even so, the average health value of a level 50 tank profession is basically 1 or 2 million. At least a very small number of top tank front rows have a chance to reach 3 million. As for Lu Fan's Netherworld Fire, it deals 6 million damage per second, so even a level 60 tank, let alone a level 50 tank, cannot resist it head-on. Elder Shao was hit by the Netherworld Ghost Fire, and his health bar bottomed out instantly. Although he was horrified in his heart, Elder Sha had been in the world for many years and had experienced life and death countless times. Beast transformation. In the next second, the whole person transformed into a huge golden lion. Lu Fan is familiar with the professional illustrated book. The Tiger Warrior is a very famous SS-level profession in the illustrated book. This profession has many special abilities. For example, when transforming, you are immune to all damage and cannot be selected. When playing dungeons, many top Tiger Warrior professionals will use this to avoid the boss's deadly skills. After transforming into the full beast form, the Tiger Warrior's attribute points will be automatically converted. Converts most of the strength and agility into constitution and endurance, so health and defense will be greatly increased. At this time, Elder Sha transformed into the full beast golden tiger form and avoided the first wave of damage. But Lu Fan remained calm. The ghostly fire causes continuous damage, and can still kill the opponent in the second. What surprised Lu Fan was, the next second, Elder Sha did not die, but the golden tiger's eyes burst out with blood-red flames. Beast King protects the body. This is a passive skill that can only be mastered by the King of Beasts at level 50. Triggered when in a dying state, it can keep one's health at one point and make oneself invincible for 10 seconds. This is also the signature feature of the King of Beasts. Whether it's a dungeon or a battle for family territory, Beast King's body protection is very useful. It is precisely because of this ability that the Shao family is willing to spend resources to let it break through the level 50 mark. Boy, I really didn't expect your move to do such high damage, but even so, if you think you can kill me like this, you're looking down on me. Elder Sha laughed proudly, and then he was about to take out the 5th grade elixir, concentration dust cleansing pill, from his backpack. This was exactly the same as Wu Qi's reaction at that time. I want to use the concentrating soul cleansing pill to purify Lu Fan's will-o'-the-wisp. He knew very well that this elixir could not purify the ghostly fire. But in the next second, something happened that shocked everyone. I saw a Netherworld death god holding a sickle slowly rising above Elder Shao's head. The god of death has no face or form, only a black cloak swaying in the wind. With the appearance of the god of death, Elder Sha felt as if his soul had been pulled out of his body, and his eyes were frozen in place. Then the god of death raised his sickle and swept towards Elder Sha. Elder Sha completely lost his life and fell straight to the ground. This scene made everyone look stupid. Even Lu Fan was slightly dazed. He knew very well that once the Beast King's body protection was triggered, he would be invincible for at least 10 seconds without dying. But what happened to that god of death? Etc. Lu Fan suddenly thought of something and looked up at his right index finger. He is currently wearing the Ring of Hades, the King of Hades, which only he can see. If his guess was correct, the god of death just now should be Hades' contempt. Directly kill all creatures with a health value below 20%. I really didn't expect that this special effect could directly ignore the invincibility of the King of Beasts and kill him directly. At the same time, the girl in the shaded guest room and the old man drinking also arrived here. But when they arrived, they saw Elder Sha being killed by the god of death. Whether it is Sha Linglong, the daughter of the Shao family, or the white-haired old man who has seen a lot. At this moment, everyone was stunned by the scene just now. Miss, the terrifying momentum of that move just now is something that even this old man has never seen before. Sha Linglong also looked incredulous. You must know that Yanjing is the imperial capital of China. It can be said that it is the place with the most powerful people and geniuses. And Sha Linglong was born in the Shao family, one of the 4 major aristocratic families in Yanjing. There are countless talented young people who I have never seen since I was a child. But the young man in front of me didn't look much different in age from him, but he could kill the level 50 Shao family elder in one move. This terrifying strength cannot even be achieved by Qin Hao, the most talented young man in Yanjing. There is something wrong with this guy. He must have disguised his appearance, level and profession. Otherwise there is no way he would be so strong. Sha Linglong frowned slightly. When the white-haired old man heard this, his expression became solemn and he said in a deep voice. What the lady means is that the person in front of me is from the Dark Temple. Sha Linglong nodded. It's very possible. In that case, let me give him a try. The white-haired old man raised his right hand slightly, and a thunder sword appeared out of thin air behind Lu Fan. Chapter 41. This is not a real sword, but an energy sword formed from the power of thunder and lightning. The dazzling electric light instantly caught Lu Fan's attention. Are there any masters? Lu Fan glanced around and immediately spotted Sha Linglong in black transparent lace and an old man with white hair holding a wine bottle standing not far away. I saw blue lightning flashing above the white-haired old man's right hand. Level information and career information are revealed above the head. Surprisingly, it is level 69, Thunder Sword King SSS. Just when Lu Fan was surprised, the thunder sword behind him had penetrated his body. But surprisingly, the sword did not cause any damage to it. I just feel paralyzed and unable to move. Obviously the other party's intention is not to kill him, but to control him. Hey, what do you two want to do? Lu Fan yelled at Sha Linglong and the white-haired old man not far away. However, the other party did not answer immediately. The white-haired old man's expression was even slightly startled. His lightning sword move just now was called Thunder Purification. Although it does not cause damage, it can purify all buffs on the opponent and cause a paralysis effect that lasts for 10 seconds. If Lu Fan is in the disguise of the Dark Temple at this time, his true form will be revealed under the purification of lightning. Miss, it seems that this person is not from the Dark Temple. Oh, Sha Linglong actually had a happy look on her face. He moved his hair between his brows and placed it behind his ears, then walked slowly towards Lu Fan with his long, white legs. Hey, what's your name? Sha Linglong moved her face so close to Lu Fan that their noses were almost touching. Both of them could feel each other's hot breath at this time. Lu Fan's ears suddenly turned red due to this sudden upheaval, and he subconsciously wanted to avoid it. But Nahe's body was paralyzed by lightning and he couldn't move. Although Lu Fan now has very powerful attribute values, there is no way to resist control skills. My name is Lu Fan, but this beauty, do you know how to be polite? You should introduce yourself before asking other people's names. Sha Linglong didn't hesitate and said softly. Lu Fan smiled calmly. So that's it. So, you are here to take revenge on me, right? After knowing the other party's intention, Lu Fan no longer had any scruples. Although the white-haired old man was a level 69 Thunder Sword King, with Lu Fan's current methods, he was not afraid at all. As long as the other party dares to take action, he, Lu Fan, will never show mercy. Even if the other party is the Shao family, one of the 4 great families in Yanjing. However, Sha Linglong smiled charmingly. I originally planned to kill you, but seeing how handsome you are, I decided to let you go. Lu Fan. I saw Sha Linglong placing her hands in front of her small breasts, walking to Lu Fan's side, and continued. However, I have to tell you something. In 3 months, the election for the head of my Shao family will be held every 20 years. This elder could have cast a valuable vote for my father, but now he has been. If you kill me, how can I go back to deal with my father? Lu Fan smiled faintly. So, what do you want? You should know that in a big family like ours, the internal competition is extremely fierce. For the election of the head of the family, every vote is extremely precious. Sha Linglong said, suddenly stretched out her slender and beautiful index finger, gently lifted Lu Fan's chin, and said softly. Since you lost this vote, then naturally you have to make up for it. Lu Fan was stunned. How to make up for it? Sha Linglong smiled playfully. As long as you become an important member of my Shao family, you can make up for it. Lu Fan, I don't understand. That is, you can make up for it by becoming my husband. Sha Linglong said, her face getting closer and closer. Lu Fan was stunned when he heard this. Good guy, you proposed to me after just 1 meeting. At this moment, the white-haired old man interrupted the two of them with a tactical cough. Miss, stop making trouble. I have already chosen a good person for you, so please stop teasing others. Bah, didn't my father say that? If I don't like him, I can go out and look for him myself if I can. I'll find him now. I think he's good. I've decided that it's him. Lu Fan was completely speechless. Good guy, you didn't even ask me for my opinion, so you decided on your own. Who do you think you are? No, I'm talking about this girl. Although you are somewhat pretty, I'm not interested in you, and I have my own things to do, so please find someone else. As soon as these words came out, Sha Linglong was also stunned. Good guy, I am the third young lady of the Shao family, and I am as beautiful as anyone in the country. The queue of young men from aristocratic families chasing me in Yanjing could go around the world. You actually said you're not interested in me. Hey, kid, you have to think clearly. Entering the Shao family is what many Chinese men dream of. It will save you at least 20 years of hard work. Now that this girl has given you this opportunity, you should feel lucky, but you actually want to reject. Lu Fan smiled coldly. I'm sorry, I have my own things to do now. As for things between men and women, it's okay to have a one-night stand with you, but it's unnecessary if you get married. In addition, the Shao family you talk about being proud of is actually in my family. In my eyes, it's worthless. What did you say? Sha Linglong never expected that the other party would say such words. You must know that she is considered arrogant in Yanjing, but the man in front of her is actually even more arrogant than her. He actually didn't even pay attention to the Shao family, one of the 4 great families in Yanjing. And what's even more hateful is that he actually said that he wanted to have a one-night stand with me. What do you think of me, Sha Linglong? Whore. Lu Fan, let me ask you seriously one last time, are you sure you want to refuse? Yes. Lu Fan didn't hesitate at all. Sha Linglong took a deep breath, turned around and came to the side of the white-haired old man. In this case, don't blame me for being cruel. Since I can't win over a talented young man like you, I have no choice but to get rid of him, otherwise he will only become a threat. Sha Linglong turned to look at the white-haired old man and said sternly. Mr. Gu, do it. The white-haired old man almost spit out his drink. Good guy, you propose marriage 1 second and make a move the next. But there was no other way. As Sha Linglong's personal protector, the white-haired old man was a little confused, but he still had to do it. Boy, I said you really don't think about it. My lady needs to have good looks and a good family background. You can't find such a good one outside. Lu Fan smiled coldly and waved his hand. 3 huge ghost wolves appeared instantly. Then he raised his right hand, and the ghostly fire rose and surged. I'm sorry, Lu Fan, am a tough talker and I don't like soft food. If you want to take action, just come over and I will accompany you. As soon as these words came out, Sha Linglong's expression changed slightly. She originally just wanted to scare the ungrateful young man in front of her. But I didn't expect that Lu Fan was not afraid at all, and even dared to shout to the level 69 Thunder Sword King to fight him. You must know that the white-haired old man is a well-known figure even in Yanjing. Besides her, Sha Linglong, who else would dare to be so arrogant in front of his old man? But I don't know why. Sha Linglong was unconsciously looking at the young man in front of her with admiration at this moment. And what surprised her even more? This guy is obviously only level 23 and has the lowest professional talent of F, but he has 6 dogs and 3 wolves, a total of 9 summoned beasts. And every summoned beast seemed to look menacing. Especially the terrifying aura of the 3 giant wolves that had just been summoned actually made her feel slightly frightened. If Mr. Gu hadn't been there to watch over him, I probably wouldn't have known what to do. At the same time, Mr. Gu's expression became more solemn. With a high level of keen perception, he actually felt a long-lost sense of oppression in the will-o'-the-wisp on the young man's right hand and the 3 ghost wolves. This is incredible. You must know that even though he has faced many level 70 experts, he has never felt like this before. In addition, when we first arrived, the weird death swung his sickle. This moment, the curiosity and fighting spirit in the heart of the Thunder Sword Emperor, who had retired from the world for a long time, were completely ignited. Boy, I have to say that you do have the arrogance. It has been 10 years since I sealed the sword, but today, I am willing to make an exception and test your skills for the young lady. When Sha Linglong heard this, her face turned red. Mr. Gu, what are you talking about? Mr. Gu chuckled, raised his right hand high and pointed towards the sky. I could only hear the roar of thunder above 10,000 meters in the sky. Countless rays of lightning fell, converging on the top of the spacecraft to form a giant sword of lightning. The terrifying energy fluctuations allowed Lu Fan to clearly feel the death pressure brought by the thunder sword from a long distance away. A conservative estimate would have caused at least 1 million damage from this sword. Sha Linglong was shocked and immediately turned around to grab the old man who was casting a spell. Mr. Gu, stop. He is only level 23, you will really kill him with this move. When Mr. Gu heard this, he couldn't help laughing. Lu Fan didn't know the other party's true intentions at this time. But facing a level 69 expert with SSS talent, he naturally did not dare to be careless. No nonsense, just raise your hand and throw away the ghost fire. At the same time, the three ghost wolves also entered the invisible state and launched a sneak attack towards the white-haired old man. When the white-haired old man saw this, his face showed a long-lost look of excitement, and his right hand was about to fall. But at this moment, a strange space vortex suddenly appeared in the center of both sides. The space actually began to twist and rotate like water waves. What's even weirder is that Lu Fan's Netherworld Ghost Fire and Netherworld Wolf were all absorbed into the space vortex. Disappear. Lu Fan was completely dumbfounded. He didn't expect that the opponent's strength was so terrifying. But the situation is not too bad. The 6 Hades are still there. Even if the Thunder Sword falls from the sky, he will not be killed instantly. The worst case scenario is jumping ship and running away. But what surprised Lu Fan was that the white-haired old man opposite seemed to have something wrong with his expression. The moment he saw the space vortex appear, his right hand that he wanted to drop actually stopped in midair. The thunder sword in the sky did not fall, but disappeared. Hee, boy, it seems like you and I can't win in a fight today. The white-haired old man slowly lowered his raised right hand, took out the wine bottle and drank heavily again. Immediately afterwards, an old man wearing a gray robe slowly walked out of the space vortex. Miss, I finally found you. Come back with me. The master is a little angry. Humph, I don't want to. Who asked him to make an engagement for me privately? I don't like that person. Unless he cancels the engagement, I won't go back. Mr. Gu was slightly startled at this moment. Miss, didn't you say you came out to help the master canvass votes? Yes, we are canvassing for votes. The old man in gray robe shook his head and smiled bitterly. Okay, you two should stop acting. The master said that as long as you, miss, rank in the top 5 in the National College entrance examination next month, then the engagement can be cancelled. As soon as these words came out, Sha Linglong became excited. Really, Grandpa Kongji, don't lie to me. The old man in gray robe smiled faintly. You think I am you? Lying all day long. Okay, go back quickly. I have specially customized an upgrade plan for you, so that you can quickly improve your strength before the National College entrance examination. Sha Linglong nodded. As long as you can cancel the engagement, I'll get it for you, not to mention the top 5 in the country, but the number 1 in the country. After that, Sha Linglong walked towards the space vortex. But just before entering, Sha Linglong suddenly looked at the confused Lu Fan in the distance and smiled seductively. She took out a pink card from her backpack and slapped it on Lu Fan. Lu Fan was stunned when he saw it. A pink mark appeared on his chest. It's actually a rare 6th level prop, the Yuanyang seal. This prop comes in pairs, 2 in total. As long as it is printed, both parties can know the location of the other party and can call and chat anytime and anywhere. It is a must-have prop for the upper-class people in Yanjing to fall in love. Unexpectedly, Sha Linglong hit Lu Fan directly. Hey, Lu Fan, I'm very happy to meet you this time. I look forward to seeing you next time. Sha Linglong blinked at Lu Fan, made a goodbye gesture, and then disappeared into the space vortex. When Mr. Gu saw Sha Linglong entering, he naturally followed him. However, just after both of them entered, the expression of the old man in gray robe suddenly darkened. He suddenly came to Lu Fan's side and sucked out the mandarin duck seal with his right hand. Boy, although you don't know what happened between you and my lady, her status is not worthy of a boy from a remote country like you. You and her have been destined to be different from the same world since birth, so, please consciously stop this unrealistic thought. As the old man spoke, his right hand shook slightly, shattering the Yuanyang seal into pieces. Remember, the Yanjing Shao family is an existence that you cannot reach in this life. Live your ordinary life well and don't make trouble. If it affects the Shao family's marriage plan, you and the family behind you all will die. After the gray-robed old man finished warning, he turned around and disappeared into the space vortex. With his departure, the space returned to calm again. It was as if nothing before had ever happened. Lu Fan was left stunned in place with a speechless expression. I said this old man is an idiot, right? I have no interest in the Shao family, but if you say that, I won't be happy. What can't you achieve in this life? Are you going to threaten to kill my people? Who the hell can stand this? Shao family, right, just wait for me. One day, I will personally go to Yanjing and crush the Shao family. Lu Fan felt a burst of resentment in his heart at this moment. At this moment, his cell phone suddenly rang. He took it out and saw that it was Zhang Shui calling. What's wrong, Xiao Shui? Lu Fan answered the phone and asked. Lu Fan, where have you been? I'm on the spaceship now, preparing to go to the demonic mountains in the south of Linhai to level up. What's wrong? Now there are many admissions teachers from outside schools, and they are all inviting me. I don't know what to do. Zhang Shui lowered her voice, fearing that people outside would hear her. Lu Fan understood it as soon as he heard it. After Zhang Shui was kicked out of the family, she lived alone most of the time. Not good at dealing with others. To put it simply, you are too embarrassed to reject others. Xiao Shui, since we already decided on Qingyan Academy yesterday, we can just tell them directly. I said, but it was no use. They were all too enthusiastic, especially the people from Huayan Academy. They were particularly strong and seemed to insist on getting me. And just now they seemed to be taking action to drive away teachers from other schools. I was so scared that I hid in my room and called you. There's this Huayan Academy doesn't talk about martial ethics. Okay, I understand, just hide in the room and don't come out, I'll take care of it. Lu Fan hung up the phone and immediately called the housekeeper of the villa. Old Huang, you must be in the villa. I'm here, young master. There are a lot of people outside, including the principal, the mayor and so on. So much. Yes, everyone heard that we have a legendary SSS, and they all came here to take advantage of it. I understand. If you do this, take the phone to the person in charge of Luyin Academy outside. I want to have a word with him. Okay, master. The old housekeeper didn't dare to neglect and immediately took the phone out. Hi, hello, I am the admissions officer of Luyin Academy, Qingfeng, who are you? I am Zhang Shui's boyfriend. Now let me inform you that Zhang Shui is going to Qingyan Academy with me, so please don't get too entangled and leave on your own. Unexpectedly, when the other party heard Lu Fan's words, he immediately burst into laughter. You should be the Lu Fan that the girl mentioned. I just checked you in the Empire's system. Your profession is a Nether Warlock and your level is F. To put it bluntly, considering your level, wanting to go to Qingyan Academy is simply a dream. In addition, I want to remind you that maybe you and Zhang Shui were lovers before, but when she transferred to the legendary SSS, your fate was over. You and her will never have any intersection for the rest of your life. From now on, you will be people from two worlds. Therefore, Lu Fan, I advise you to let go as soon as possible and find a girlfriend that suits you again. As for Zhang Shui, our Luyin Academy is finalized. Quote. Question mark. What the hell are you talking about? How can you force this thing? And the king's law, and... Before Lu Fan finished speaking, the other party hung up the phone. Lu Fan called back angrily. But I didn't expect that the person who answered the phone was the principal. Lu Fan, it's like this. The mayor and I have never heard of Luyin Academy before, but after inquiring just now, we found out that that academy is the real top university in China. We all think that Zhang Shui's talent is you can only get the best guidance if you go there, so we think so. Okay, let's just go with the attitude of the admissions person in charge. I don't want Zhang Shui to go there. Also, principal, don't think I don't know. You and the mayor want Zhang Shui to go to Huayan Academy, and it's not just for your own sake. Is there light? Headmaster, you kid is so crazy when you talk now. Master, it's not good, the people from Luyin Academy are going to start robbing you. The butler's voice sounded on the other end of the phone. How dare they? Butler, stop them. As soon as these words came out, the housekeeper was stunned. Ah, master, you asked me to go. Lu Fan was also stunned for a moment, realizing that he had been too excited just now. Old Huang, go call someone for help and stop them. Master, are you kidding? The person in charge of Luyin Academy is as high as level 60. None of us are his match. That's right. Lu Fan took a deep breath and calmed down quickly. He suddenly realized that something was wrong with his emotions. As the other party is the #1 academic institution in China, its strength is naturally not bad. There is no way anyone in Kangnan City can be an opponent. Such a simple truth, I actually forgot. Moreover, Huayin Academy is not an evil organization. Taking Zhang Shui away is just to snatch high-quality students. There is no danger to his life. There is no need for him to be so excited. Thinking about it carefully, I realized that my mentality was so abnormal entirely because of the words of the gray-robed old man of the Shao family just now. This is not the mentality a strong man should have. After calming down, Lu Fan called Zhang Shui again. Okay, it's okay. I will go to Lu Yin Academy to find you soon. Wait for me. It's up to you. Let's forget it. Wherever the gate of Lu Yin Academy is, I'm afraid you can't find it. The voice of admissions tutor Qing Feng came from the distance on the other end of the phone. Zhang Shui, don't listen to him. Trust me, go ahead and strengthen yourself. I will definitely come to you. Okay, Lu Fan, I believe in you and I will always wait for you. After the two exchanged some pleasantries, Lu Fan hung up the phone. The Shao family and Huayin Academy are all waiting for me. Sooner or later, I will make all those who look down on me kneel down. Quote. At this time, more than a dozen people in the room also walked out tremblingly after seeing this. Boss, we have tidied up the room, please take a look. No. Lu Fan looked cold and raised his right hand, summoning 3 hell wolves to kill all these dozen people. From the beginning, Lu Fan had no intention of letting them go. Then Lu Fan lay down in the room and rested for a while. The spaceship arrived in Linhai City. Linhai City faces the sea to the east, so it is called Linhai City. To the southwest is a vast expanse of demonic mountains. Lu Fan got off the spaceship and rode the Dark Wolf to the entrance of the demonic mountains. There are dozens of Chinese guards wearing dragon armor here. There are also adventure professionals who are constantly coming and going. Looking at the familiar scene in front of him, Lu Fan couldn't help but sigh. The demonic mountains are finally back. This time, I want to see who killed me in my last life. The demonic mountains are the place where Lu Fan died in his previous life. The demonic mountains are a dangerous area that ordinary people would never dare to set foot in. There are wild monsters from level 20 to level 50 everywhere here. And unlike the monsters in the safe zone dungeon, every monster here has intelligence comparable to humans. The higher the level, the higher the monster's intelligence. They use traps, launch surprise attacks, and fight in groups. Without absolute strength, ordinary professionals would not choose to enter this high-risk death zone. But in the demonic mountains, the most terrifying thing is not the monsters, but the people. Because the demonic mountains have no protection restrictions in safe areas. Once a professional dies here, all equipment and items in his body will be dropped. Because of this, there are a large number of killers who make a living by killing people for money. According to official Chinese statistics, at least 1 million professionals die in the demonic mountains every year. Only 35% of them died at the hands of monsters, and the rest all died at the hands of similar professionals. It is even said that the purpose of many professionals entering the demonic mountains is not monsters, but people. Compared to killing monsters, the reward for killing is actually greater. If you kill a stupid young rich second generation who ran away from home, you can even achieve financial freedom directly. This is exactly why the demonic mountains are so dangerous, but there are still many professionals flocking to them. Lu Fan died in the demonic mountains in his last life. Even though he had already awakened the Netherlord at that time. Successfully broke through to level 10 and summoned the Hell Dog for the first time. But even so, Lu Fan still died there. Not killed by monsters, but by people. As for who it was, Lu Fan didn't know. Because he was sleeping at the time, he heard an explosion and died. When he regained consciousness, he found that he was already in the school's job transfer formation. In this life, Lu Fan is bound to catch the murderer. Revenge yourself for your previous life. This is also an important reason why Lu Fan chose to come to the demonic mountains to level up among many dangerous areas. Lu Fan remembered the time and place of his death. Time: late at night the day before the National College entrance examination. Location: Demonic Mountains, 10,000 Poison Palace, Staff Dormitory. However, there was still some time before the day before the college entrance examination, so Lu Fan was not in a hurry to get there. What he needs to do now is to go to the Demonic Mountains to upgrade and improve his attributes and strength. Lu Fan rode the Underworld Wolf to the foot of the Demonic Mountains. There are a large number of professionals gathered here. Most of them are preparing to form a team and go to the mountains to kill monsters and clear dungeons. Various invitations to form a team or requests to form a team are heard endlessly. Level 35, Demon Hunter, Talent Level A, requesting to form a team. Level 28, Water Wave Mage, Talent Level B, please form a team. Here comes a wet nurse with a talent of level 30 to 40 and above. Wait for 5 to 1 and start immediately. I'm looking for a powerful front rower who is above level 40, has S-level talent, and has at least epic level suits all over his body. He can enter the depths of the demonic realm to brush up. Most of these professionals who are calling for team formation are newcomers who have just arrived in the demonic mountains, or some individual professionals. They did not join the local gangs, so they did not have a fixed team. In this area, there are nearly 100 gangs of various sizes. Most professionals generally choose to join one of the gangs. Because after joining a gang, not only will the gang help you match a fixed team, but also having the gang as a background will give you an extra layer of protection. You must know that the most common thing in the demonic mountains is people killing people. But if you are a member of a big gang, then killing you will inevitably trigger the gang's revenge. Therefore, when those killers choose targets, they will give priority to those who do not have gangs. Therefore, when most people enter the demonic mountains, they will choose to join a gang. Among the nearly 100 gangs in the demonic mountains, the one with the strongest strength, the greatest reputation, and the number 1 ranking is none other than Longxing Tianxia. That was the gang to which Xiao Chang belonged that Lu Fan killed on the plain. There are thousands of gang members, and the gang leader and a group of elders are top powerhouses up to level 50 or above. Moreover, the gang slogan of Longxing Tianxia is, "Anyone who offends our gang will be punished no matter how far away they are." As long as someone dares to take action against a member of the Longxing Tianxia gang, no matter where that person is, they will be killed no matter where they are. However, joining a gang naturally has its drawbacks, which is that you have to pay huge membership fees regularly. Moreover, every time you kill monsters and brush up the rewards, the gang will ask you to hand over the best rewards. Therefore, some professionals who are confident in their own strength would rather stay alone and form a temporary team than join a gang. Lu Fan was currently riding on a huge underworld wolf, scanning the crowd at the entrance. He is also preparing to form a team to enter this time. In addition to wild monsters, there are also many copies scattered throughout the demonic mountains. The deeper you go into the mountains, the higher the levels of monsters and copies become. However, the locations of these dungeons are extremely secret, and are not even recorded in the school's dungeon illustrated book. If you want to find it, you must have a veteran who is familiar with this place to lead the way. Although Lu Fan didn't need to form a team with his current strength, in order to quickly find the location of the dungeon, it was undoubtedly the fastest to join a team led by veterans. At this time, suddenly a large crowd of people came not far away. In the center of the crowd was a purple sedan chair carried by 8 strong men. On the sedan chair were clearly written the 3 characters, 10,000 Poison Palace. Based on the memory of his previous life, Lu Fan knew that this sedan was the exclusive sedan for the leader of the 10,000 Poison Palace. The 10,000 Poison Palace is an extremely special force in the demonic mountains, famous for producing and selling poisons. The poisons they create are different from ordinary healing drugs. They can be used as attack props to directly cause continuous poisoning damage to monsters. It is very suitable for teams with strong survivability but insufficient output ability. In the demonic mountains, the sales of poisons can be said to be in short supply. But gang members in the 10,000 Poison Palace can receive a free supply of high-quality poison every day. As a result, more and more people choose to join the 10,000 Poison Palace, and their power becomes stronger. It has become the second largest gang in the world after Longxing Tianxia, and there is even a faint tendency to catch up in recent years. Everyone, listen up. The gang leader of 10,000 Poison Palace will personally lead a team into the deepest part of the demonic mountains to collect herbs this time. We are still short of a powerful output. If anyone can come, the reward will be generous and I guarantee your satisfaction. In front of the purple sedan, a burly man covered in animal skins yelled at everyone. The crowd was instantly excited. Many level 40 experts who were confident in their own strength rushed over. But without exception, they were all turned away by the sturdy man. At least have an output of level 50, a professional talent of SS level or above, and preferably a legendary suit all over your body. If there is one that meets the requirements, hurry up. As soon as the burly man said this, most of the crowd dispersed in an instant. Level 50, talented SS, legendary suit. It can be said that every condition is very harsh. Those who can satisfy them all are definitely the top strong ones in the demonic mountains. Among this group of scattered people, no one can reach it. And just then, Lu Fan rode the underworld wolf, going against the flow of people, and leisurely arrived in front of the sturdy man. I can. What? As soon as these words came out, the group of professionals who were leaving all stopped and cast curious glances at Lu Fan. The entrance to the demonic mountains. All professions have their eyes fixed on Lu Fan. They wanted to see which great god could meet the conditions mentioned by the big man just now. The sturdy man glanced at the young Lu Fan, with a puzzled look on his face. Although this kid's mount is very cool, generally speaking, level has something to do with age. Even with an SSS level talent, it is impossible to reach level 50 at such a young age. Boy, show me your level and profession. The sturdy man frowned and said. Lu Fan smiled lightly and revealed his level and career information. Amazingly level 23, Nether Warlock F. As soon as the information came out, the onlookers burst into laughter. Hey, boy, are you here to make fun of me? With your strength, you are not even qualified to carry shoes for someone else's leader. The sturdy man also felt that he was being teased, and shouted angrily. Get out of here. If I weren't in a good mood today, I would kill you right now. Lu Fan looked calm when he saw this. With just a slight lift of his right hand, ghostly fire rose up. The violent energy in it actually made the sturdy man feel a little surprised. Lu Fan smiled coldly and raised his hand to send the strong man away directly to show his strength. But at this moment, a large number of menacing villains rushed in not far away. The clothes of these villains all had a golden dragon embroidered on them. Lu Fan naturally recognized this logo. It was the gang logo of Longxing Tianxia. I saw a large number of people from Longxing Tianxia arriving. The rest of the people were all afraid and moved away. They knew very well that there was usually only one reason for Longxing Tianxia to dispatch so many people at once. That is revenge. In order to avoid being accidentally injured, all irrelevant personnel retreated far away. Only Lu Fan and the forces of 10,000 Poison Palace remained firm and did not seem to be afraid. Hey, I didn't expect to meet the leader of 10,000 Poison Palace today. I'm so polite now. A white-haired old man riding a giant black leopard saluted the purple sedan. Elder Lu doesn't need to be polite. I don't know what you want to do by raising an army and mobilizing a large number of people. The old man known as Elder Lu glanced at Lu Fan not far away, smiled faintly and said. May I ask gang leader Zhou, is that young man riding the giant wolf one of yours? No, that way, it will be easier to handle. Elder Lu breathed a sigh of relief and winked at his younger brother. Within a moment, dozens of fierce Longxing Tianxia gang members surrounded Lu Fan. Your name is Lu Fan, right? Were you the one who killed Xiao Chang from our gang? Elder Lu looked at the messages on his phone and said calmly. It turned out that when Xiao Chang was killed, the others sent the news to the gang group in Longxing Tianxia. Among them was Lu Fan's name and appearance information. Longxing Tianxia upholds the principle that anyone who offends our gang will be punished no matter how far away they are. Immediately send someone to track Lu Fan's spacecraft. In other words, from the moment Lu Fan got off the spaceship, he was targeted by the people in Longxing Tianxia. At this time, everyone watching saw that they were here to kill Lu Fan. They were all dumbfounded. They didn't expect that a level 23 waste with only F talent would dare to kill the gang members of Longxing Tianxia. This is just like seeking death. Lu Fan stood proudly on top of the underworld wolf with a calm expression, even wanting to laugh. Good guy, it's better to come sooner than to come sooner. He just wanted to kill people to establish his authority, and people from the world of Longxing came to kill him. Lu Fan smiled coldly. Yes, I killed the person, so what? As soon as these words came out, the onlookers were shocked again. This guy's brain was really kicked by a donkey. He's still so cruel even when he's about to die. Elder Lu put away his phone and said calmly, okay, since I admit it, let's stop talking nonsense and go to hell. Elder Lu gave the order. The younger brothers around him all took action and blasted towards Lu Fan. Lu Fan smiled faintly and directly raised his hand to summon 6 ghosts to resist the damage. Then a pillar of Netherworld flames instantly killed all the boys around him. At this moment, the whole audience was shocked. Even the burly man's face was full of disbelief. How is this possible? However, before everyone could react, a huge dark wolf appeared behind Elder Lu at some point. With one paw, he struck Elder Lu to death on the spot. Silence. There was a deathly silence. No one thought that in this flash of lightning, the young man at level 23 in front of him actually killed a team of dozens of people from Longxing Tianxia all by himself. Among them is a level 50 elder. After these people were eliminated by the group, they were not in the safe zone. All the equipment and items on these people fell out. The ground is full of objects shining with various lights. However, no one in the crowd dared to pick it up. They were afraid of Longxing Tianxia, and they were even more afraid of Lu Fan. Lu Fan was naturally rude and accepted them all with a wave of his hand. Then he slowly rode the underworld wolf, passing by the burly man with a surprised look on his face, and went straight to the purple sedan, and said with a faint smile. Gang leader Zhou, I wonder if I am qualified to join the team now. As Lu Fan spoke, he saw the figure sitting inside through the translucent sedan curtain. What surprised Lu Fan was that this person was actually a woman with a graceful figure. Good guy, this image simply cannot be associated with the leader of the 10,000 Poison Palace. At this time, I saw the beautiful figure in the sedan moving slightly, saying softly. Can. At this time, the sturdy man also came over, touched his shiny head and said with a smile. Hey, little brother, I was really ignorant just now. I didn't know that my little brother could have such strength at such a young age. Please forgive me, little brother. Lu Fan didn't care about it. For him, the key was to start as early as possible, clear the dungeon, and improve his strength. Can we leave now? Lu Fan said directly. Can. Following the words of the woman in the sedan chair, the team started to set off and entered the demonic mountains. Follow the team through the dense jungle. From time to time, there are sounds of monsters climbing and walking around. But without exception, no monster dared to take action against Lu Fan's team. These wild monsters have extremely keen perceptions. You can clearly feel the aura of professionals. If the aura is too strong, these monsters will leave voluntarily. Therefore, in the first half of the demonic mountains, they did not need to worry about monster attacks at all. Hey, little brother Lu Fan, I'd like to ask you out of curiosity, why do you have such terrifying strength when you are only level 23? The sturdy man walked at the front and looked back at Lu Fan and asked. Lu Fan smiled lightly and joked, because I signed a contract with the Abyss Demon. What? As soon as these words came out, everyone looked horrified. Everyone stopped in unison, drew their weapons and went on alert. You know, those who sign a devil's contract cannot enter the dungeon. And there will be no experience points for killing monsters. The way for demon contractors to gain experience points is the same as monsters, by killing humans. It can be said that once you sign a devil's contract, you will completely become the enemy of the human race. This is why everyone went on alert when they heard Lu Fan said that he had signed a devil's contract. Everyone had seen Lu Fan's methods just now and knew that this boy was terrifyingly powerful. If they really signed a devil's contract, I'm afraid no one in the team would survive except the woman in the purple sedan. Boy, are you serious? You signed a devil's contract? The burly man broke into a cold sweat and asked seriously. Don't worry, he doesn't have the aura of the devil on him. At this time, the woman in the purple sedan suddenly spoke. Lu Fan smiled slightly. It's just a joke, please don't be nervous. When everyone heard this, they sighed, put away their weapons, and continued to move forward. Your name is Lu Fan, right? Those people in Longxing Tianxia must avenge themselves, even if they are far away, they will be killed. If you kill their elders, they will not let it go. Lu Fan smiled faintly. If they dare to come, I will make sure they never come back. You are so confident. Longxing Tianxia is the largest gang in the demonic mountains, with thousands of members, and there are 20 strong men above level 50 in it. If they all go out, can you handle it? Lu Fan rode the underworld wolf and walked side by side with the purple sedan. He turned to look at Qian Ying inside and said with a smile, "What's wrong? Are you worried about me?" The woman in the sedan smiled lightly. "What I mean is, if you are willing to join the 10,000 Poison Palace, I can help you fight against the world of dragons." Lu Fan was slightly startled and wanted to refuse. To deal with Longxing Tianxia, he alone is enough. But he suddenly thought that he would go to the 10,000 Poison Palace soon to find the murderer of his previous life. So he nodded after hesitating for a moment. "I agree to join." The woman in the sedan was slightly startled. She originally thought that Lu Fan was preparing to make conditions when he paused. "But I didn't expect that the other party agreed directly." "But I have a condition," the woman in the sedan said. "You should have told me earlier." "You say, I demand that we move forward faster." As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned. You must know that the demonic mountains are filled with terrifying monsters and various death traps, which are extremely dangerous. Generally, the team will choose to have the tank lead the way in front of the team to test, and the teams behind will slowly follow up. This is the safest and most common method. If an ordinary person puts forward this suggestion, everyone will definitely oppose it collectively. But Lu Fan is different from ordinary people after all. At level 23, he can instantly kill the elders of Longxing World. Therefore, the woman in the sedan did not rush to refute, but asked patiently. Lu Fan smiled coldly and raised his hand to summon the other 2 ghost wolves. "If you go to clear the dungeon, 6 people are enough. There is no need for others to follow. My wolf is very fast, and there are 3 of them, which is enough for 6 people." Lu Fan said as he glanced at everyone in the 10,000 Poison Palace. "I would like to ask the leader of the gang next week, besides you and me, who are the 4 others who are going to clear the dungeon this time?" The burly man wearing animal skins came over, pointed at himself and said, "I am the front row of the team's human shield, level 56, King of Beasts SS." Lu Fan was slightly startled. "I didn't expect that he would be the King of Beasts in the same profession as you, Elder Sha. And it has exceeded level 50, which means that it has understood the Beast King's body protection and can be invincible for 10 seconds. I have to say that such a meat shield in the front row is still somewhat useful." Immediately afterwards, a man from the crowd wearing a green cloak, blonde hair, long ears, and holding a long bow came over. "I am the DPS shooter in the team, level 57, Elf Shooter S." Elf Shooter. Lu Fan had seen it in the professional illustrated book. Although it only has an S-level talent, this profession is more than just a shooter with output. He has eyesight far beyond that of ordinary people and can see thousands of miles away. There are also many detective skills. For example, the 3 scout owls flying in the sky are his summoned beasts. Immediately afterwards, a muscular man wearing a black leather jacket, a black baseball cap, and holding a large knife slowly walked out. "I am a warrior of this team and also an off-tank, level 58, King of Wuji Sword SS." King of Wuji Sword. Lu Fan was slightly startled. This profession is said to be the most balanced profession in the SS level. Integrate offense and defense. Strength and endurance can be transformed at will. It also has various blocking and counterattack skills, and is also a very powerful profession in single combat. "I am the assassin of this team, level 54, Shadow Eater SS." Lu Fan was startled by the sudden voice coming from behind him. Only then did he realize that this female assassin had been invisible from beginning to end. If it wasn't for the purpose of introducing himself at this time, I'm afraid Lu Fan would not have noticed her throughout the entire journey. I have to say that the profession of assassin is really terrifying, killing people invisible. There was once a saying circulating in the world. Don't mess with anyone but assassins, otherwise you won't have a peaceful night. And this Shadow Eater profession is different from ordinary assassins. This profession is very suitable for farming dungeons. Because she can swallow the souls of dead monsters around her and temporarily increase her combat power. In other words, the more monsters around her die, the stronger her fighting power becomes. Even after devouring the souls of certain monsters, you can temporarily use the characteristics and skills of these monsters. The ability can be described as very abnormal. After everyone was introduced, the woman in the sedan finally spoke. I am the team's doctor, level 59, Breaking Bad, Legendary SSS. Legendary SSS. Breaking Bad. A profession that has never been recorded in the professional illustrated book. Even Lu Fan was shocked now. The most incredible thing is that the name Poison Master sounds like it should be a damage-dealing profession, but this woman just said that her position is actually a doctor. In other words, this profession combines output and treatment. What's even more incredible is that Lu Fan never expected that there would be professionals of this level in this demonic mountain range. You must know that after Zhang Shui awakened the legendary SSS Snow Queen and was forcibly abducted by Huayin Academy. He also checked a lot of information about this on the spaceship. Logically speaking, as long as there is an awakening of legendary SSS professionals in China, without exception, they will be taken away by Huayin Academy. The reason for this is because Huayin Academy is not as simple as a simple academy. His purpose is to provide top talents to the Empire and help the Empire resist the invasion of monsters and other countries. Professionals who can enter Huayin Academy must be at least SS level or above. And only a small number of rare and special SS levels have a chance to enter. Most of them are SSS level professionals. Huayin Academy will never leave a professional like the legendary SSS alone with the greatest potential. Lu Fan couldn't help his curiosity and asked, Gang leader Zhou, have you ever heard of Huayin Academy? As soon as these words came out, everyone around was stunned again. Naturally, most of them have never heard of this name. But the main players in the team just now are all familiar with this name. Little brother, you really can't help but pick up the pot. The sturdy man laughed. What's wrong? It's better not to ask this question. The burly man seemed to know something, so he leaned close to Lu Fan and whispered. Lu Fan was a smart man and immediately realized that there was another story. But it is not convenient to continue to delve deeper at this moment. Okay, since that's the case, let's not waste time. Please ask gang leader Zhou to get out of the sedan chair, and we will ride on the underworld wolf to speed up. Others who have nothing to do with it, please go back on your own. As soon as these words came out, the bearers carrying the sedan chair and other members of the 10,000 Poison Palace all had happy expressions on their faces. If he left like this, he would undoubtedly be able to save his life. However, the woman in the sedan said, No, I reject your proposal. You must know that our trip is to the deepest part of the demonic mountains. The journey is long and will take at least 15 days. If all these people leave, who will help us? Moreover, the road is dangerous and full of monsters and traps. Going too fast will put you in danger. Finally, I am used to sitting in a sedan chair, but I am not used to riding on a mount. If you insist on going your own way, then we will turn around and go back, or we will have to regroup. Quote. The series of words shocked those around him. You must know that in their impression, the gang leader would never talk so much to others. But in the next second, Lu Fan's behavior completely stunned everyone. I saw him flying to the side of the sedan chair, opening the curtain of the sedan chair and getting in. This scene immediately frightened everyone, and they all gathered around the sedan. The sturdy man was even more anxious and shouted, Little brother, what are you going to do? Don't touch the gang leader, you will be poisoned to death. The female shadow assassin stood aside, shaking her head and sighing. Seek death. That's right, anyone who has been around the demonic mountains for a long time knows about it. The gang leader of 10,000 poison palaces is born with a poisonous body. Once touched, he will be poisoned and the damage will be extremely high. Once upon a time, a level 40 warrior jumped into the sedan and touched the gang leader's delicate body out of curiosity. In just a few seconds, he was directly taken away by the poison on his body. Seeing Lu Fan suddenly break into the sedan, the woman also looked shocked. Hey, don't. But before the woman could finish her words, Lu Fan directly hugged her into his arms, and then flew back to the underworld wolf. At this time, Lu Fan finally saw clearly what the woman in the sedan looked like. She was wearing a long purple dress, long purple hair, and a purple veil on her face that made it difficult to see her appearance. Lu Fan hugged the woman and smiled coldly. Yes, for Lu Fan, his strength is enough to crush everyone present. Even if you are a legendary SSS profession, so what? He is a level higher than the legendary, a unique hidden profession in the world. Therefore, there was no need for him to discuss it with this group of people. However, the woman in his arms at this moment did not pay attention to Lu Fan's words. She just looked at Lu Fan in shock and exclaimed, You are actually okay. Lu Fan was stunned. Of course he felt the poisonous wound in his body. The damage per second was as high as hundreds of thousands. Fortunately, Lu Fan had a ghost dog to help deflect the damage, so his health did not fluctuate. It looks like it's not poisoned. It has to be said that this woman's talent is really abnormal, and the passive poison damage she comes with is so high. It's a pity that he met Lu Fan, who was even more perverted in talent. Lu Fan smiled proudly. With the poison in your body, it can't hurt me. As soon as these words came out, the woman in her arms completely turned pale. In the 3 years since her awakening, Lu Fan is still the first person who can ignore her deadly poisonous body. The woman struggled to sit up from Lu Fan's arms, straightened her long purple hair, and said softly. Everyone listens to the order and follows Mr. Lu Fan's instructions. The main force entering the dungeon will all ride on the giant wolf, while other irrelevant personnel can go back on their own. Thank you, Gang Leader Zhou, and thank you, Mr. Lu Fan. After hearing this, the rest of the younger brothers kowtowed and thanked him. Lu Fan naturally ignored it and just urged the other 4 to get on the wolf quickly. Naturally, the other 4 people did not dare to neglect, so they divided themselves into groups and rode on the ghost wolf. Among them, the King of Beasts and the King of Wuji Sword are in a group. Shadow Killer and Elf Shooter team up. Lu Fan and others followed closely behind. Lu Fan was seen hugging the purple-clothed woman in front of him with both hands, and his body was rubbing up and down with the beating of the underworld wolf. Because of her congenital poisonous body, the woman has not touched a man for 3 years, and she has long been lonely inside. The body actually kept twisting to cater to Lu Fan. This made Lu Fan so comfortable that he almost screamed. He suppressed his inner impulse, leaned into the woman's ear and whispered, By the way, I haven't asked your name yet. Zhou Ziyi, just call me, well, Ziyi. Meanwhile, on the other side. In the meeting hall of Longxingtianxia. What? How dare you kill me, the elder of Longxingtian Sha? This is so audacious. After the gang leader Long Badian learned that the elder of his gang had been killed, he was furious. He immediately sent a message in the gang group and at everyone. The 2 deputy gang leaders, the 4 guardians, all the elders, and the elites all come back to the gang to assemble immediately. This time I will go out in full force and enter the demonic mountains to hunt down this guy named Lu Fan. Reporting to the gang leader, it is said that someone saw Lu Fan entering the demonic mountains with the gang leader of 10,000 Poison Palace. Wandu Palace, Zhou Ziyi. That's just right, let's kill them together. Lu Fan and his party continued to advance deeper into the demonic mountains on the underworld wolf. The dark wolf was extremely fast, and it only took half a day for the team to reach the middle of the demonic mountains. The level of monsters here is generally between 30 and 40. Different from the previous journey, the monsters here are stronger and more fierce and violent. Here Lu Fan and his party were attacked by many monsters. For example, the level 35 gray-eyed lizard, the level 38 armored wild boar, the level 36 drumming rabbit, etc. However, facing the attack of this group of monsters, the team did not need to take action at all. The underworld wolf claws one at a time, killing them instantly. Even if you encounter spider web traps or swamps that give ordinary professionals a headache. In front of Lu Fan's underworld wolf, he dismissed it casually and treated it as if it was nothing. This immediately made the rest of the team look stupid. Although they are all experienced warriors, they have never seen such a simple and crude way of advancement. And not only that, what makes other people's scalps tingle? After Lu Fan killed these monsters, he used ghost fire to burn them. Not only the attributes skyrocketed again, but the level also rose randomly. It directly broke through to 29. At this time, everyone completely understood that the young man in front of them was definitely not the occupation information displayed, but only an F-level occupation. It is no exaggeration to say that this young man's profession is even more powerful than the legendary SSS of the 10,000 Poison Palace gang leader. At this time, Zhou Zi, who was hugged tightly by Lu Fan, gasped. "Hey, Lu Fan, can you tell me what your real occupation is? I don't believe you are F." After Lu Fan spent all this time, his body was burning with desire. I saw him lifting up Zhou Zi's long skirt and slowly inserting his right hand from the bottom of the skirt. His left hand was constantly rubbing his soft chest. Then he whispered softly into his ear. "If you behave yourself tonight, I'll tell you." Zhou Zi's face was already flushed and she was panting. Then you have to be careful. I've been hungry for a long time and I'm going to eat people tonight." As Zhou Zi spoke, she unscrupulously stretched her slender fingers towards Lu Fan. The electric shock-like pleasure almost made Lu Fan ascend to heaven. Since Lu Fan and Zhou Zi were at the end of the team, no one noticed their lewd behavior. Until late at night, the team finally stopped and found a cave to rest. Due to the poor visibility at night, and the deeper you go, the stronger the level of the monster becomes. Therefore, the average professional adventure team will not choose to advance at night. Although Lu Fan is powerful, he is not afraid to move forward in the dark. But after most of the day's lustful consumption, Lu Fan was also a little tired. More importantly, he will have a battle with Zhou Zi tonight. At this time, the 6 people in the team gathered around the campfire and began to take out the food in their backpacks and have dinner. The king of beasts, covered in animal skin, bit into the tomahawk steak in his hand and laughed. Thanks to brother Lu Fan's help today, the original 15-day trip can be reached tomorrow at today's speed. Little things. Lu Fan was rummaging through his backpack at the moment. He had forgotten to bring food before. As a professional, eating is not necessary. But seeing everyone eating delicious food, I couldn't help but feel a little greedy. After searching in the backpack for a long time, I also found the food that the group of people in Longxing Tianxia had dropped when they died. The food is also extremely rich, all prepared. Braised chicken, braised pork trotters, spicy chicken feet, etc. In short, there are many kinds of things, everything you want. Lu Fan took them all out and shared them with everyone. After all, although these things will not be damaged if placed in the system's backpack, they will also expire. But surprisingly, when Lu Fan handed the food to Zhou Zi, she shook her head and refused. "What's wrong? You don't dare to eat the food I gave you. Or, you don't want me to see your face." That's right, along the way, Zhou Zi's face was always covered with a purple veil. I thought that when she was eating, she would take off her veil so that her face could be seen clearly, but she didn't want to be rejected. However, judging from her figure and voice, the woman in front of her is definitely not bad looking. Although there was a small chance that the car would overturn, Lu Fan didn't panic at all. With this superb figure, even if she's ugly, she'll still do it. It's the same with the lights off anyway. Zhou Zi shook his head at this time. "No, it's because of my physical condition that I can't eat these." As Zhou Zi said this, he actually took out a bottle of level 5 poison, heart-corroding bone powder, from his backpack. Lu Fan was shocked. "You must know that this poison is used to deal with monsters or enemies, and the damage is extremely high." Zhou Zi suddenly took out this at this time, leaving Lu Fan confused. Just when Lu Fan was confused, Zhou Zi suddenly said, "Lu Fan, turn around first. What's the meaning? I don't want you to see how I look now. I'm very ugly now. Don't be afraid, I don't mind it, just let me see it." "No, I don't want. I have to watch. You, okay, but you promise me you won't dislike me." "Don't worry, I promise you won't dislike it." I saw Zhou Zi finally slowly lifting the veil with her hands. I saw that under Zhou Zi's white and tender skin, there were dense purple lines like earthworms. "My appearance, didn't it scare you? Fortunately, you probably have varicose veins, and surgery should be able to cure them. You don't have to feel inferior. Anyway, medical beauty technology is so advanced now." Zhou Zi was stunned when she heard this and had no idea what Lu Fan was talking about. Lu Fan smiled lightly and comforted. "But I can actually see that you are very beautiful. Really, Zhou Zi said, opening the heart-corroding bone powder in his hand and pouring all the powder inside into his mouth. Lu Fan was stunned. Ziyi, what are you doing? Zhou Zi took a deep breath, and then a faint purple light burst out all over her body. The sturdy man laughed. Brother Lu Fan, don't be nervous. Due to the gang leader's special constitution, he needs to take highly toxic pills every day. Is that so? After a while, the purple light slowly dissipated. Lu Fan looked up and was shocked again. All the purple blood vessel lines on his face disappeared. The whole face was glowing red. It didn't look like he had taken poison at all, but rather he looked like he had just received a lot of tonic. And as the purple lines disappeared, Lu Fan finally saw Zhou Ziyi's appearance clearly. It was so beautiful that Lu Fan was stunned for a moment. Simply a peerless look. And just then, Zhou Ziyi was also a little embarrassed by Lu Fan's fiery eyes. Lu Fan, do I look good now? Lu Fan took a deep breath and was about to answer. Zhou Ziyi's phone suddenly rang. When I picked up the call, it was the Great Elder of 10,000 Poison Palace. Gang leader, it's not good. Longxing Tianxia is gathering at the entrance of the demonic mountains. The entire gang is coming out, saying they want to kill you and that Lu Fan. Okay, I get it. Zhou Ziyi nodded, his expression unchanged. When dragons roam the world, they must avenge themselves, and they must be killed no matter how far away they are. She was not surprised by such a move. But along the way, she had seen Lu Fan's strength. As long as the two of them join forces, she won't be afraid even if Long Xingtian goes up together. Gang leader, you must be careful. It is said that Long Badian, the gang leader of Longxing Tianxia, has recently exceeded the 60 mark. In addition to the people of Longxing Tianxia, there are also a group of unknown forces who have also joined. It depends on the strength. It's not weak either. Oh, there are other forces. Do you know what they are called? Listen to the news coming from below. It seems to be called something, the Dark Temple. Dark Temple, thanks to Zhou Ziyi's hands-free amplification. So Lu Fan also heard the conversation, and his expression changed slightly. I understand, Great Elder, you will send a message to the gang group later to ask the gang members of 10,000 Poison Palace not to enter the demonic mountains in the near future. I know, gang leader. Well, let's do this for now. If anything happens, we'll contact you later. Zhou Ziyi said, hung up the phone, and then looked at Lu Fan. Dark Temple, have you heard of it? Zhou Ziyi also noticed the slight change in Lu Fan's expression just now and guessed what Lu Fan should know. The rest of the people also looked at Lu Fan. Lu Fan took a deep breath and said calmly, this Dark Temple has had some problems with me before. I don't know its strength very well, but it shouldn't be weak, and it is very good at disguise. Their people can change their appearance, profession and level information at will, so along the way, except for us, don't trust anyone else except the 6 people in this team. After hearing this, everyone nodded to express their understanding. Zhou Ziyi continued to ask, then if Long Xingtianxia and the people from the Dark Temple join forces this time, are you sure that they can win? Lu Fan shook his head. It's hard to say. Don't worry about Long Xingtianxia. They're just a bunch of ants, but I don't know how deep they are in Dark Temple, but it's not a big problem. Since they came out in full force, so many people entered the demonic mountains together, the speed must be it's not going anywhere fast, and it's night now, so even if they drive all night, they can't catch up with us. At this time, the sturdy man also spoke. That's right, we rode on the underworld wolf and rode wildly for most of the day. If we walked normally, it would take them at least 10 days and there would be no way they could catch up with us. The king of Wuji Sword on the other side also spoke. And they don't know our route. The demonic mountains are so big. If you want to find us, it's almost like looking for a needle in a haystack. The elf archer shook his right hand and summoned several invisible owls to fly out. Don't worry, my owl can detect enemies within a radius of 5,000 meters. If they appear, I will notify everyone as soon as possible. Shadow Soul Leader also stroked the hair between his brows and said coldly, I have placed mark traps along the way. If a human touches them, they will be sensed by me. Seeing that everyone in the team did not panic when facing a strong enemy, but instead they were in order and showed off their magical powers. Lu Fan also looked at these people differently. They are all worthy of being level 50 experts, and their qualities in all aspects are much better than ordinary people. After everyone finished their dinner, they continued to chat for a while. Finally, they each entered the cave and found a place to sleep. This cave is huge, comparable to a small castle. Lu Fan also set the Hell Dog and Hell Wolf to automatic patrol mode. In this way, there is no need for someone to keep vigil, which is extremely convenient. Lu Fan, on the other hand, found a secret corner in the cave with Zhou Ziyi, the leader of the 10,000 Poison Palace. Zhou Ziyi took out an inflatable bed from his backpack and placed it on the ground. The two hugged each other and lay on the bed, and began to chat quietly between them. Hey, Lu Fan, you know, I haven't been hugged like this for a long time. It feels so good to be hugged so tightly. Is it because of your physical condition? Well, I am a deadly poison. Anyone who comes close to me will suffer a high amount of poisoning damage. Most people can't handle it at all. Lu Fan naturally understands this very well. He is now suffering up to hundreds of thousands of injuries every second. If it weren't for the 6 hell dogs with a health value of tens of millions, he wouldn't have been able to hold on for long. Lu Fan held Ziyi with one hand and touched her cheek with the other hand. Ziyi, you are so beautiful. Really, in fact, I haven't let anyone see my face for many years. Is it because of the weird purple lines? No, it's because it's useless even if people look at it. They can't get close to me anyway. If they look at it, it will harm others. That's it. I didn't expect you to be quite kind. Lu Fan said and couldn't help but kiss her. Ziyi didn't dodge, she closed her eyes and responded. The two of them entangled their tongues for a full 10 minutes before they stopped. By the way, Ziyi, what happened to the purple lines on your face? Why did your face recover after taking poison? It's also because of my fatal poisonous body. This poisonous body will not only cause harm to others, but also to myself. The more purple lines, the more serious the damage. Only by swallowing poison and fighting poison with poison can it be alleviated. Hi, that's it. Lu Fan took a deep breath. I didn't expect that there is such a profession in this world, and it can even hurt myself. As soon as these words came out, Zhou Ziyi was slightly stunned. After a moment, he nodded slowly. After I awakened from Breaking Bad, I was recruited by people from Huayin Academy. That's true, but why are you now in the demonic mountains and creating your own gang? Logically speaking, shouldn't you have graduated from Huayin Academy and then been assigned to various important national defense institutions in China? Actually, that was the plan at the beginning. The teachers at Huayin Academy were also very good to me. They taught me wholeheartedly and helped me level up. But later, what happened next? Zhou Ziyi looked a little sad. But later, as my level increased, my deadly poison became more and more powerful. Once the classmates in the academy accidentally touched it, it would cause life-threatening danger. And not only that, every time I upgraded and broke through, I would have unleashed a large-scale toxin attack unconsciously, accidentally injuring many people. Lu Fan probably understood after hearing this. So, you were finally expelled from Huayin Academy. No, Zhou Ziyi shook his head. I escaped on my own. Huayin Academy doesn't want me to stay and pose a threat to other professionals. It also doesn't want to let a dangerous element like me go outside, so it's preparing to kill me. What did you say? Erase you. The other side. The entrance to the demonic mountains. Long Badian, the gang leader of Longxing Tianxia, was bowing to an old man in black robe. I didn't expect that even you, the helmsman of Zhongnan province of the Dark Temple, would be dispatched. It seems that that boy is really extraordinary. No further nonsense, the question now is how do you plan to find them? Don't worry, there is one of them in their team who is mine. Inside the cave, Lu Fan was shocked by Zhou Ziyi's words. He did not expect that the #1 university in China would be so virtuous. They wanted to kill you, and then, how did you escape? Zhou Ziyi suddenly burst into tears and sobbed. It was my master who risked his life to save me and I was able to escape. Quote. Your master is dead. Yes, he used his life to cover for me. It was master who asked me to come to the demonic mountains. Because the area here is vast and full of fish and dragons, even Huayin Academy would not find me easily. Then do you hate Huayin Academy now? Hate, when one day I become a truly strong man, I will definitely return to Luyin Academy to avenge my master. Zhou Ziyi said and hugged Lu Fan tightly. Lu Fan, will you help me? Lu Fan smiled coldly. It just so happens that I don't like those guys. I will go with you then. Really, don't lie to me. Lu Fan gently stroked away Zhou Ziyi's tears with his hand and kissed her again. At the same time, one hand held the soft snow peak on his chest. Zhou Ziyi groaned when she was touched. His slender fingers also reached towards Lu Fan. The sudden pleasure of electric shock made Lu Fan groan. And this completely aroused Lu Fan's animal desires. He directly took off Zhou Ziyi's long skirt, pressed her under her body, and launched an attack. Zhou Ziyi had not tasted male gender for 3 years and couldn't stand it at all. He let out a moan like a blue wave. Lu Fan, come in. Lu Fan smiled proudly. Can't stand it. Do you want it? Well, if you want, come in quickly. When Lu Fan saw this, he stopped talking nonsense and pressed in hard. During this period, Zhou Ziyi once took the initiative to press Lu Fan under her and twisted on her own. It wasn't until the two fought for 7 full rounds that they finally gave up. Zhou Ziyi was panting, lying in Lu Fan's arms with a flushed face, and said with satisfaction, Lu Fan, I really didn't expect that you would be so fierce that I would lose all my fluids. Lu Fan hugged the beauty in his arms tightly. You're not bad either. By the way, Lu Fan, it was you who asked me questions just now it's my turn to ask you. Well, if you ask, I will tell you everything I know. After the exchange just now, Lu Fan felt Zhou Ziyi's sincerity. As a human being, he, Lu Fan, must avenge his enemies and repay his favors. Since the other party is honest with him, he will also be sincere in return. Why did your level increase so quickly after you burned the monster's corpse with your skills today? According to the experience value of those monsters, you should not have reached level 29. Because my profession is also very special. I can burn monster corpses and gain 10 times the experience points. So that's it. Then, Lu Fan also told his story, and the two chatted for a while. In the end, the two fell asleep hugging each other. Early next morning, the team once again headed towards the depths of the demonic mountains. Along the way, we still encountered many attacks from monsters, and their levels were getting higher and higher. Level 40, level 45, and finally level 50. However, in front of Lu Fan's underworld wolf, they were all slapped to death with one claw. Lu Fan burned all the corpses of the monsters that blocked the road, and his experience points and attributes skyrocketed. However, since Lu Fan does not have a 3rd level breakthrough certificate, he cannot break through now that his experience points have overflowed. But Lu Fan is not in a hurry, as long as he completes the dungeon of the demonic mountains and stabilizes his strength. After the team moved forward for a short while, everyone finally arrived at the entrance of the target copy. This is different from the entrance to the copy square. Each dungeon entrance in the demonic mountains only corresponds to one dungeon. Moreover, every entrance is extremely hidden, and it would be difficult for ordinary people to discover it unless an experienced person leads the way. At this time, Zhou Ziyi, as the captain of the team, walked towards the entrance vortex. This is a level 55 copy, Shitualing. Professionals, please confirm whether you want to enter the challenge. Shitualing. Lu Fan was stunned when he saw this name. As a Blue Star traveler, he knew the meaning of this name very well. Confirm. Zhou Ziyi nodded in reply. Professionals, please confirm the difficulty of the challenge: easy, normal, difficult, nightmare, hell. As soon as these words came out, Lu Fan was stunned again. He didn't expect that the difficulty of the dungeon here would be one more dimension than that of the dungeon square. Hell. At this time, Zhou Ziyi did not make an immediate decision, but looked at Lu Fan, as if asking for his opinion. However, Lu Fan was hit hard by the information just now and was confused. Seeing this, Zhou Ziyi hurriedly patted Lu Fan and said, Lu Fan, the things I want must be at the hard level before they will drop. Therefore, I want to choose the hard level. What do you think? Is it too risky? You know, in this world, the higher the level of the copy, the greater the risk. Especially high-level dungeons can be wiped out by the group if they are not careful. Therefore, professionals generally do not take risks to challenge dungeons of the same level. Generally, you will choose to challenge a dungeon that is 5 to 10 levels lower than your own. For example, a level 50 professional will generally only challenge level 40 to 45 dungeons. And even if there are a few who challenge the same level dungeon, they will only choose to challenge the normal difficulty at most. Only after you have mastered the normal difficulty level and worn a complete set of equipment that is at least legendary in quality, can you team up with other similarly strong players to try to challenge the difficult level. It can be said that the difficulty level is already the ceiling for ordinary people. Because of this, when Zhou Zi chose the difficult difficulty, she would look at Lu Fan again and again for confirmation. However, Lu Fan smiled coldly and said, "Don't waste time, go straight to hell level." As soon as these words came out, everyone in the team was shocked. You must know that they are all veterans who have been in the demonic mountains for many years. Shichualing is the strongest copy of the demonic mountains, and they have also challenged the normal difficulty many times. They knew the horror of this copy. There are all kinds of difficult elite monsters all along the way. The point is that there are 3 bosses in this instance. Green-haired lion monster, yellow-tusked old elephant, Dapeng golden winged eagle. Among them, the lion monster not only has the control skills of swallowing people, but also has a knife technique that can cause terrifying damage. The yellow-tusked old elephant possesses the control skill of having a long nose that curls around people. It is also resistant to high health and is very resistant to attacks. The most powerful among the 3 bosses is undoubtedly the golden-winged Dapeng. It has extremely high agility, possesses movement skills and can cause high critical damage. The key point is that he can also use magic weapon skills, yin and yang 2 gas bottles. Inhale people into the bottle to control and cause continuous damage. In other words, all 3 bosses have control skills. If a fight really breaks out, the team of 6 will be controlled by 3 people in an instant, leaving only half of them. However, in the normal difficulty, the perception of the 3 bosses is not very sharp, so you can fight them one by one. But once the difficulty reaches the hard level or above, no matter which one of the 3 bosses is damaged, the other 2 will be awakened. In other words, 3 boss must be dealt with at the same time. So even on the hard difficulty level, it is already a huge challenge for everyone. Not to mention nightmares and hell. It is simply unimaginable how terrifying it would be. So everyone shook their heads to express rejection, saying that Lu Fan had never challenged him before and did not understand the dangers involved. You should first challenge a difficulty and test the water first. However, Zhou Zi, the captain, looked at Lu Fan and asked seriously. Lu Fan, I listen to you, are you sure you want to challenge the hell level difficulty? Lu Fan nodded. Well, it's hell level. Chapter 51. Everyone was dumbfounded at this moment. Although they have all seen Lu Fan's abilities. But in the hell level Shichualing, no one can imagine how terrifying the monsters inside will be strengthened. There are also those 3 already terrifying bosses. With the blessing of hell level, their strength will probably become even more abnormal. But while everyone was still stunned, Captain Zhou Zi has already made his choice. Hell level. Professionals, please note that the dungeon you are currently challenging is the level 55 Hell difficulty dungeon Shichualing. After comprehensively evaluating the current team's level and professional talents, the system believes that the challenge is too difficult. It is recommended to change the difficulty again. Please be careful, confirm whether you want to continue the challenge. 1. Replacement difficulty. 2. Head iron continues. As soon as the system risk warning came out, everyone was completely uneasy. Gang leader, you are crazy. There is no need. Shouted the king of beasts. Yes, we have plenty of time now, so there is no need to take this risk. No matter what, we can challenge the difficult level first to see Lu Fan's strength, and then decide whether to challenge the hell level. The rest of the people also opened their mouths to persuade. However, Zhou Zi shook his head. I trust Lu Fan unconditionally. Lu Fan also smiled calmly. Don't worry, everyone, I can tell you everything. In fact, I can complete this dungeon by myself. I brought you here just for the sake of our friendship. Of course, if you really feel scared, you can also choose to quit the team now and wait for us to come out at the entrance. After all, the purpose this time is to help gang leader Zhou get what she needs. It is not a one-time success, but the difficulty of hell will make the explosion rate higher. Quote. That's right, after last night's in-depth exchange, Lu Fan learned that the main purpose of Zhou Zi's trip was to obtain the yin and yang 2 cylinders that fell from the Dapeng golden winged eagle. That is the top level 5 active magic weapon item. Although I don't know what Zhou Zi wants that thing for, just based on the close friendship between the two last night. It was easy for Lu Fan to brush this thing for her. Moreover, Zhou Zi is level 59 and has a strong legendary SSS talent. When the time comes, she will be a great help to him when facing the Dark Temple's attack. Face the risk prompts that pop up from the system. Zhou Zi did not look at Lu Fan this time, but directly chose to tie to continue. And as the captain made the choice to enter the copy, all team members also received pop-up prompts asking whether to enter. Of course, Lu Fan didn't hesitate and directly chose to confirm. But the rest of them looked at each other in confusion, afraid to make a choice. Lu Fan was impatient. Okay, you can quit the team first and wait for us outside. It won't take long anyway. With all the time you've wasted, I'll finish it all and come out. Seeing Lu Fan swearing so confidently, the others gained a little more courage. Among them, the female assassin from Shadow Eater was the first to click agree. After all, assassins have stealth skills and can protect themselves no matter what. The rest of the people looked at each other, and then all clicked to agree. Boo! As the copy vortex rotates, the 6 members of the team were teleported into the Shituling dungeon. As soon as he entered, Lu Fan smelled a pungent smell of blood. Look around. Skeletons or ridges, bones are everywhere, and human entrails are wrapped around the trees. Even the soil on the ground is made of human skin and human flesh, making it look like a picture of hell on earth, a sea of blood and a mountain of corpses. In addition, there are monsters in the west that are cutting human flesh alive, and monsters in the east that are cooking. The arrival of Lu Fan and his party also alarmed the group of monsters that were eating people. Are there any more humans who are here to die? That's great. I happen to be hungry. I saw a dozen monsters from the west turning around first, and it was a level 55 monster, a sheep monster. It is a terrifying monster with a sheep's head and a human body. On the weird monster body and sheep's head, many wriggling tree branches grow and spread. After discovering Lu Fan and others, more than a dozen sheep monsters rushed over immediately. Upon seeing this, Zhou Zi immediately reminded Lu Fan, be careful. Once this monster gets close, it will wrap the target with its tree branches, making it unable to move for 10 seconds. Upon seeing this, the King of Beasts immediately used his beast transformation, transforming into a huge white tiger and preparing to fight. Just as Zhou Zi said, as soon as these sheepwood monsters get close to the Hades dog, the tree branches on their bodies grow crazily, binding the Hades dog tightly. It's a pity that Lu Fan's hell dog, as a large human shield with a health value of tens of millions, is not afraid of this kind of attack at all. Then Lu Fan raised his hand and summoned 3 more underworld wolves. He rushed towards them, one with each claw, and killed them all in an instant. This time, everyone else was dumbfounded. You must know that when they challenged the dungeon in the past, even the normal difficulty level of Shituling, these monsters are enough for them to fight for more than 10 minutes. However, the monsters with hell level difficulty are now like paper in front of Lu Fan, killing them instantly at will. You must know that the blood volume of these monsters is at least millions in the hell level. But what they don't know is, the underworld wolf summoned by Lu Fan was 10 times as agile as Lu Fan's spirit. Lu Fan's current mental attributes are as high as hundreds of thousands. Therefore, the agility value of the Stygian wolf is as high as a terrifying 1 million. In addition, the Hades wolf comes with its own passive, multiple critical hits, and with one claw strike, the damage can range from 3 million to 6 or 7 million. Moreover, the Stygian wolf not only causes explosive damage, but also has abnormal attack speed. With an agility of over 1 million, the attack speed has reached the system's threshold, 5 times per second. After this calculation, the instant kill of the Dark Wolf has exceeded 10 million. Therefore, killing these little monsters with millions of health instantly is a piece of cake. At the same time, the huge movement also attracted the monster that was cooking in the east, the thin blue monster. This monster has a dark blue body and a slim body, hence its name. Its characteristics are high agility, fast speed, and with the blessing of hell difficulty, it will have additional blood-sucking characteristics. Each attack restores 50% of the damage dealt. After discovering that their companions had been killed, a dozen thin blue monsters immediately rushed toward Lu Fan and others like lightning. However, Lu Fan still followed the same method, with Ming Dog taunting and Ming Wolf launching an attack. In just a few seconds, all the monsters guarding the door were wiped out. After that, Lu Fan used Ghost Fire to burn all the monsters' corpses. Experience points and attributes skyrocketed again. However, at this moment, a sound similar to a watchdog sounded in the distance. Lu Fan, be careful, this is an elite-level monster, the mountain patrol monster, Xiao Zuanfang. Good guy, you are a mountain patroller. The king asked me to come to the mountain to patrol the founder of classic folk songs. Unexpectedly, this guy actually became an elite monster in this dungeon. As the little wind continued to knock on the barrel in his hand, the sound of dense crawling monsters could be heard from all directions. When Zhou Zi and the others saw this, their expressions condensed, and they all entered a state of combat readiness. The sound made by this little wind will attract all nearby monsters, and it will also add a frenzy state to these monsters. Frenzy state. Yes, the frenzy state can greatly increase the damage and movement speed of monsters. After Zhou Zi finished speaking, he saw nearly 1,000 monsters with red eyes appearing around him. Blessed by their frenzied state, these monsters increased their speed and surged toward everyone like a tide. Lu Fan looked up and found that among this group of monsters, except for the sheep monster and the thin blue monster just now, there are 2 more monsters. Level 56 Dryad and Vine Elf. Compared with the previous sheep monster and blue thin monster, Dryads and Vine Spirits are long-range magic attack units. It can use wood spell skills to extend branches and vines from the ground to cause damage and entanglement effects to professionals. Zhou Zi looked around and couldn't help but be startled. Oops, on the hell level difficulty, the number of monsters is several times greater than the suffering, close to 1,000. And there are them in all directions, there is no room to pull. The elf archer's expression also changed slightly and he shouted. Not only are there more, but there are 2 more monsters that were not there before. What? Everyone was startled and immediately looked in the direction pointed by the elf shooter. It was discovered that there were 2 monsters hiding in the dark shadows in the distance, making it impossible to see clearly. At this time, the King of Beasts shouted. The monsters are coming soon. Ignore the 2 new monsters for now and deal with the ones in front of you first. Lu Fan, you are in charge of the front, I will fight the ones behind. The Wuji Sword King also changed into a defensive posture, holding the sword in front of him, and converted all his strength into endurance. I can also resist one direction. Zhou Zi gently raised her right hand, and the purple light bloomed. The terrifying poisonous gas slowly spread out. This poisonous gas can not only damage monsters, but also heal team members within the range. Facing a huge number of monsters with considerable strength, everyone's faces showed nervous expressions. However, unlike everyone else, Lu Fan's face was full of relaxation and indifference. He smiled slightly and said to everyone, "Everyone, please retreat to my side. No need to take action, just watch carefully. Today I will open your eyes." Lu Fan raised his right hand and controlled 6 hell dogs to protect everyone in the middle. Then he used his roar to stop all the sheep monsters and blue skinny monsters that were charging towards him. After all the melee monsters had gathered, he raised his hand and fired another pillar of netherworld flames, rising from the ground into the sky. Directly kill hundreds of monsters around him instantly. But what Lu Fan didn't expect was that the long-range wood demon and vine demon were not affected by the taunt of the ghost dog. He directly launched an attack on everyone inside. I saw dense vines and branches growing on the ground under everyone's feet. He was whipped and wrapped around everyone. You must know that monsters with hell level difficulty, even ordinary monsters, can cause extremely high damage. Ordinary crispy skin might not be able to withstand even 5 attacks. Not to mention that there are more than 100 wood demons and vine demons attacking in the distance at this moment. Seeing that something was not going well, Shadow Soul Eater immediately used invisibility to escape. But the elf archer and Zhou Zi were entangled in vines and unable to move. Lu Fan was also slightly startled. You must know that normally, even long-range attacking monsters will only attack the units closest to them first. That is to say, they will attack the Hades standing on the outside. But this group of monsters actually bypassed the Hell Dog and directly attacked the professionals inside. Lu Fan suddenly remembered that the demonic mountains were in a dangerous area and these monsters were intelligent. At this moment, the King of Beasts suddenly roared and used his unique skills after transforming into a beast to protect the barrier. It actually transferred most of the damage within the barrier to himself. However, hundreds of wood demons and vine demons attacked at the same time, and the damage was so great that it directly knocked out the blood of the King of Beasts. Fortunately, the King of Beasts triggered his passive, the King of Beasts Body Protection. It can maintain the blood volume at one point and turn on the invincible state, which lasts for 10 seconds. Lu Fan, I can only hold on for 10 seconds. Do you understand what I mean? Lu Fan nodded heavily. Give it to me. Lu Fan waved his hand, and the three ghost wolves scattered towards the wood demon and vine demon in the distance to fight. With one claw, he killed 20 or 30 of them in an instant. At the same time, Lu Fan also used ghost fire and threw it at the wood demons and vine demons that were located in a relatively remote position. In just 6 or 7 seconds, all the monsters in the distance were wiped out. In the end, Lu Fan used a ghostly fire to take away the bewildered mountain patrol demon Xiao Zuanfang. After this operation, everyone was completely convinced. It can be said that if there were not such a heaven-defying existence as Lu Fan, everyone would definitely be here now. However, just when everyone thought the crisis was over, the two monsters hidden in the darkness actually began to move slowly. One of them walked out first, and it turned out to be a level 57 elite monster, the Weasel Detective. I saw him letting out a weird laugh, then turned around and ran away. This made everyone look stupid. It can be said that this is the first time that everyone has encountered a monster that does not attack, but actively escapes. And just when everyone's attention was attracted by this weasel spy. But he never noticed that the other monster had disappeared. Then I felt the ground shaking, and a huge vine python suddenly emerged from the soles of everyone's feet and bit into the elf shooter. This is a level 57 elite monster, the wood scale vine python. Not only does it have amazing defensive power, but it also contains poison in its mouth. When Lu Fan saw this, he raised his hand and hit him with a ghostly fire. However, it was too late. Between the lightning and flint, the speed of the will-o'-the-wisp was simply too late. Unfortunately, the King of Beasts skill has also entered cooldown and cannot be released again. At this moment of life and death, Zhou Zi raised his right hand fiercely. Phantom Poison Sting Shield. A huge purple shield suddenly appeared in front of the elf archer. There are also dense venomous spines growing in front of the shield. The wood-scaled vine python took one bite, and the terrifying force shattered the shield in one bite. But the poisonous sting on the shield also penetrated into the mouth of the vine python. The vine python containing the phantom poison immediately fell into a state of chaos and began to move around. At the same time, Lu Fan's Netherworld ghost fire also struck in time and burned it to ashes instantly. At this point, the first wave of Shichuling monster attacks was finally passed without any danger. The elf archer also took a deep breath and expressed his gratitude to everyone for their help. Lu Fan, on the other hand, began to burn the monster corpses on the ground, crazily increasing attributes and experience points. You know, although the experience points for destroying monsters are shared equally, the 10 times the experience points for burning monsters is exclusive to Lu Fan. At this time, Lu Fan's experience has already overflowed. If he had a breakthrough certificate now, Lu Fan would probably reach level 40. But just when everyone took a breath, the weird laughter of the yellow weasel spy just now was heard in the space again. Zhou Zi said with a serious face at this time. There are 3 floors in the Shichuling dungeon. This is just the first floor, the human flesh processing factory. Next we will go to the second floor, Shili Garden. As Zhou Zi's words fell, the dark place where the weasel detective appeared just now suddenly lit up with a beam of light. That is the entrance to the Shili Garden on the second floor of the dungeon, but we are not in a hurry to go there now. We will wait until the cooldown time of the skills is over and the status is replenished to the best before going there. Lu Fan looked at the beam of light and raised his brows slightly. Let me tell you, the first level was so thrilling just now, so this second level will probably be even more difficult. For the sake of safety, why don't you stay here? I will go up alone, but this is also the first time I have seen. I wonder if you can still get experience in this kind of layered copy. Zhou Zi shook her head. No, all members of the team must stand in that beam of light to trigger the teleportation. Unless someone actively quits the team and leaves the dungeon, the remaining members can continue to enter. After Zhou Ziyi finished speaking, he looked at the other 4 people and asked. What Lu Fan just said is right, the Hell level Shatu Ridge is indeed too dangerous. Everyone has just seen that in the Hell difficulty, not only the number and attributes of monsters have greatly increased, but there are also some more monsters that we have never seen before. When we enter the second level, I'm afraid there will be many things that were not available in the previous difficulty level. The risks involved are unpredictable, so if someone wants to quit now, I will never stop them. Quote. As soon as these words came out, the King of Beasts, King of Martial Blades, Shadow Soul Eater, and Elf Archer all looked at each other in confusion. After the fierce battle just now, they naturally felt the terror of this copy. And the first level is already like this, the second level will only be more dangerous. If you are not careful, you may really die here. But amid this huge risk there are also huge benefits. For example, Lu Fan killed nearly 1,000 monsters just now. Those are all monsters above level 55 and Hell difficulty level. The experience value is more than 10 times higher than that of ordinary monsters. They barely made any effort and evenly shared the experience of these nearly 1,000 monsters. Moreover, these monsters also dropped a lot of precious 5th level materials. These were all randomly distributed into everyone's backpacks. It's just like picking it up for free. Apart from these, another very important point is that Lu Fan's efficiency in killing monsters is too high. It would have taken everyone together to clear the first level of Shichuling for several hours with all their efforts. Under Lu Fan's horrific injury, it only took less than a few minutes. This made everyone feel the pleasure of hugging someone's thigh and taking advantage. So everyone thought for a moment. It was still Shadow Eater who was the first to speak in agreement. After all, as an assassin, she is relatively safe due to her invisibility. Finally, there is the elf shooter who just saved his life. Seeing that everyone agreed, Lu Fan stopped talking nonsense and took the lead in walking towards the light pillar. The others followed closely and stepped in one after another. Whoosh whoosh, as the surrounding space fluctuated. Everyone was teleported to the second floor of Shichuling. 10 miles of gardens. Compared to the blood and darkness of the human flesh processing factory on the first floor, this place is much brighter and fresher. I saw lush trees and a strange and elegant scenery. Lu Fan looked up and saw a towering mountain at the end of the garden. There is a huge dark hole under the mountain. Obviously that is the last level of Shichuling, where the 3 bosses are located. Zhou Ziyi patted Lu Fan on the shoulder and reminded. Attention, there are 3 elite level monsters on this floor, namely Silver Wolf Vanguard, Libao General Soldier, and Huahu Military Advisor. Their characteristics are. However, Zhou Ziyi hasn't finished speaking yet. The strange laughter of the weasel spies sounded again all around. Immediately afterwards, the sound of a large number of monsters approaching came from the surrounding woods. Zhou Ziyi was stunned when he saw this. Oops, it turns out that the weasel spy came to the second floor to report the news. According to the original setting, the monsters on the second floor are far away from the entrance. As long as they don't make a particularly loud noise, they won't notice it. Actively attacking. Lu Fan smiled coldly. So that's it. I wonder why the weasel detective is giggling here, but it's not a big problem. Anyway, that's the purpose of the small drill wind on the first floor. However, Zhou Ziyi shook her head solemnly. I'm afraid it's different this time. Originally, the 3 elite monsters on the second level were scattered in 3 different areas. Professionals can go there on their own and defeat them one by one. But if they are reported to us by this weasel spy now, that means we have to face 3 elite monsters at the same time. Squeak, squeak, squeak. I could hear the strange laughter of the weasel spy coming from the distance again. The elf archer relied on his keen perception to instantly detect the location of the weasel spy. Just bend the bow and knock an arrow, use its strongest damage skill, and charge up to shoot. The characteristic of this move is that the shooter can accumulate power for a long time. The longer it takes to charge, the higher the damage and the longer the range. However, the maximum charging time cannot exceed 10 seconds. I saw the elf archer charged up for 10 seconds, shot out his sword, and killed the weasel detective instantly. Although the weasel detective is an elite monster, its essence is just a messenger, so its health value is not high. At the same time, the three elite monsters, Silver Wolf Vanguard, Libao Commander, and Huahu Military Advisor, also led a large number of monsters to surround them. Lu Fan raised his eyes and saw that it was completely dark. A rough calculation shows that there are nearly 5,000 in total. This made Lu Fan look stupid. You have to know whether he was in Kangnan City before or the copies he saw in the illustrated book. Generally, there are only a few hundred of these monsters, and basically no more than 1,000. But there are actually 5,000 here now. 5,000 monsters attacked at the same time. He really didn't know if the Hell Dog could withstand it. Just when Lu Fan was surprised, the Silver Wolf Pioneer took the lead with a wolf howl and charged towards the crowd. The Silver Wolf Vanguard let out a wolf howl and led nearly 1,000 wolf-shaped monsters under him to charge towards Lu Fan and others. Lu Fan looked up and saw a flashing blue halo above the heads of these monsters. This is the skill of the Silver Wolf Vanguard, Charge. The attack speed and movement speed of monsters blessed by the charge state will be greatly increased. Zhou Ziyi explained. That's right, Lu Fan nodded. Facing this tidal wave of wolves, Lu Fan didn't take it seriously. For him, there is nothing to fear as long as the monster is in close combat. Let the Nether Dog use taunts to control the hatred, and when they gather together, he will take them all away with a Nether Flame Pillar. So Lu Fan stopped paying attention to the charging wolves and just looked at the other two places. General Libao, Military Advisor Huahu. Ziyi, under the two elite monsters over there, are there any monsters with long-range attacks? Have. Xiao Ziyi nodded and pointed in the direction of Military Advisor Huahu. I saw nearly 1,000 white fox monsters under his seat. These white foxes will launch long-range pink heart-shaped attack waves, which will not only cause huge amounts of damage, but also have a chance of enchanting the target. Charmed state. Lu Fan was stunned. Xiao Ziyi hit Lu Fan on the chest with her small fist and said shyly. You will fall into the illusion of desire and be temporarily lost. It's just a control effect. It's so mysterious to say. Lu Fan raised his right hand, summoned 3 underworld wolves and rushed in the direction of Huahu Military Advisor. The melee ones can be ignored, but the long-range ones must be killed first. Otherwise, they will ignore the taunts of the Hades and directly attack the members of the team. But what they didn't expect was that these white foxes would directly attack the underworld wolves. I saw nearly 1,000 shock waves of fans love hitting Stygian wolf, not only causing huge amounts of damage. The dark wolf's eyes that were originally glowing with green flames also turned pink. Obviously this is the white fox's charmed state. However, at the same time, the Silver Wolf Pioneer has led the team to the front. Lu Fan had no choice but to give up on the dark wolf in the distance for the time being and turn his attention to the Silver Wolf Vanguard who was close at hand. But the strange thing is that the Silver Wolf Vanguard did not attack like other wolves. Instead, he stood not far away with a sinister look on his face, as if waiting for something. At this moment, Military Advisor Huahu suddenly took action. He raised his hands, and 3 pink beams of light fell from the sky, hitting the 3 hell dogs in front of them who were taunting and seeking hatred. The eyes of these 3 Hades instantly turned pink and entered a state of enchantment. Lu Fan's heart skipped a beat. He didn't expect that these guys could actually see his tactics and choose to directly control the Hell Dog to prevent it from taunting. At the same time, the Silver Wolf Pioneer seized the gap and led the remaining hundreds of demon wolves past the Hell Dogs and pounced on Lu Fan in the middle. Humans, die under my claws. However, Lu Fan smiled coldly. He raised his hand and shot a pillar of nether flames straight into the sky, killing the Silver Wolf Vanguard and all surrounding monsters instantly. At the same time, due to the blood-sucking effect of the Ring of Hades, all the damage caused was healed on the Hades Dog and Hades Wolf. You must know that Lu Fan's blow just now destroyed nearly 1,000 monsters, and the horrific damage caused all the Hell Dogs and Hell Wolves to be full of health instantly. This scene directly stunned the Huahu Military Advisor and General Libao in the distance. Although they are replica monsters, they possess intelligence close to that of humans. Having been an elite monster in this Shituling dungeon for thousands of years, this was the first time he encountered a human being as defiant as Lu Fan. He can actually kill the Silver Wolf Vanguard and all the demonic wolves under him with one move. But just when the 2 elite monsters were surprised, Lu Fan did not hesitate. He raised his hand and hit the Huahu military counselor in the distance with a ghostly fire. Burn it to ashes in 1 second. When all the white foxes saw that their boss had been killed, they all looked angry. They turned around and fired pink shock waves, hitting Lu Fan and others. Fortunately, the King of Beasts skills have already cooled down. Directly cast the protective barrier to transfer most of the damage to yourself. Zhou Ziyi also used poison mist treatment to continuously restore blood to teammates within range. And as the white fox's attack shifted to Lu Fan and others. However, because there were too many opponents, Lu Fan directly chose to fly into the fox group, preparing to use the nether flame pillar to speed up. But Lu Fan had just escaped from the protective barrier of the King of Beasts. He himself fell into the charmed state. I saw the surrounding scene changing instantly. 4 beauties with hot figures actually appeared. Looking up, Lu Fan was instantly shocked. It's actually Han Yanlin, Zhang Shui, Sha Linglong, and Zhou Ziyi. I saw each of them wearing only thin underwear and walking towards me with charming looks on their faces. Seeing this, Lu Fan's blood surged and his animal desires aroused. Completely forgetting where I am and what I am doing. All I want to do is play with 1 dragon and 4 phoenixes, and let's have fun first. But at this moment, a slap suddenly came over, directly pulling Lu Fan back to reality. It was Zhou Ziyi. I saw him smiling evilly and saying, "Lu Fan, are you awake? I heard that this charm state can be released after being attacked. I don't know if it is useful." The corners of Lu Fan's mouth twitched and he nodded. "Thanks to you, it's lifted." Lu Fan was holding back the evil fire in his heart at the moment and was very uncomfortable. But now is not the time to worry about this. When the copy is over, he will make this naughty fool pay the price. At the same time, Elf Archer and Shadow Eater also chose to attack. Although their output is not as good as Lu Fan, the health of the White Fox monster is much lower than that of other monsters. They can more or less help deal with a few. Due to Shadow Soul Eater's special passive, the more dead monsters around her, the more she can devour the souls of monsters and increase her own damage. Although this status improvement is not permanent, it can last until the end of the copy. The previously dead monsters on the first floor plus the monsters under the Silver Wolf Vanguard just now. She has devoured the souls of approximately 1,500 monsters. This terrifying number of souls will undoubtedly greatly increase its damage. It takes several knives to chop down the White Fox monster. Zhou Ziyi also used a new skill at this moment, 1,000 Butterflies Turui. Summons thousands of purple phantom butterflies to surround the King of Beasts and continuously heal him. In addition, Lu Fan rushed into the battlefield at this moment and used Nether Flame Pillar and Nether Ghost Fire. It took nearly 30 seconds to eliminate all these White Fox monsters. But at this moment, General Libao, who had been motionless, suddenly burst into laughter. "Professionals, you don't think this is over, on the contrary, all this has just begun." He roared angrily and slammed his palms to the ground. Huang Quan dispatch. Zhou Ziyi couldn't help being stunned when he saw this. What's going on? The skills this guy uses seem to be different from those at the difficult level. Lu Fan looked confused and asked hurriedly, "What kind of skills did the leopard soldier have before?" Zhou Ziyi looked solemn and said, "It's a summoning skill. It can summon 100 enhanced Black Panther monsters every 30 seconds. 100 enhanced Black Panthers. Lu Fan looked up and found nearly 3,000 Black Panther monsters crouching under General Leopard Soldier. Zhou Ziyi nodded. That's right, but that's just the number of difficult levels. The Hell level is probably far more difficult than just 100. Moreover, his spell casting movements have also changed. It is estimated that his skills will be completely different from before." Quote. Lu Fan felt bad when he heard this, but he didn't hesitate. He raised his hand and struck directly, and the ghostly fire hit it. I thought, no matter what new skills he had, I would kill him first. But what surprised Lu Fan was that the leopard soldier here was able to withstand the ghost fire without being killed instantly. Then the laughter of General Libao was heard. "Professor, you are indeed very strong, but my technique has been completed, and your other teammates will not survive." Huang Quan dispatch. After General Libao finished speaking, he fell into the ghostly fire and turned into ashes. But in the next second, all the monsters that died just now were resurrected. And the forms of all the monsters actually turned into the form of hellish demons. And all the 3,000 Black Panther monsters under General Leopard's command were transformed into the form of hell demons. The whole body is burning with blood-red flames. Attribute values have skyrocketed across the board. You must know that just now, when the Hades dog was resisting the attack of 1,000 wolf pack monsters, its health value dropped visibly to the naked eye. This time, suppose 5,000 monsters in the form of hellish demons attack at the same time. I am afraid that except for him who can withstand it with blood-sucking, others may really die here. Especially those 1,000 white foxes from hell that attack from a distance. They can attack other people directly without being affected by taunts. And because it is a long-range attack unit and its positions are scattered, Lu Fan's nether flame pillar cannot be destroyed directly in one go. I just regret that my current skills include no large-scale group damage skills except for the nether flame pillar. While Lu Fan was hesitating, 5,000 monsters in the form of hell ghosts had already launched an attack on everyone. As for the King of Beasts' protective barrier and invincible passive, the King of Beasts' protective body has just been used, and has already entered the skill cooldown and cannot be used again. When Shadow Soul Eater saw that something was not going well, he immediately turned invisible and fled to a nearby tree. However, due to the nether flame pillar, it requires 9 seconds of cooling. You have to wait another 9 seconds if you want to release it again. But the remaining attacks still came like a flood. The horrific damage caused the Hell Dog's health bar to drop rapidly. Fortunately, there were 3 underworld wolves and Lu Fan who were constantly attacking and using blood-sucking to recover. They could barely hold on. Otherwise, even a ghost dog with tens of millions of HP would be unable to resist it at this moment. But even if there is a ghost dog blocking a group of melee demon leopards and demon wolves. But the white fox's attack was directed towards the team. These white foxes knew very well that Lu Fan was very strong and their fight would be in vain. Now their purpose is to kill Lu Fan's teammates as much as possible. However, at the critical moment, Wuji Sword King finally took action. I saw him holding his sword in front of everyone and shouting. Hang Dao immediately. The sword in his hand suddenly grew in size, like a small city wall, blocking everyone. He actually blocked all the white fox's long-range attacks. At this time, Wuji Sword King entered a protective posture, and his strength and agility were all transformed into endurance. Moreover, after releasing the horizontal sword, the endurance increased exponentially. In addition, Wuji Sword King's own blocking effect can reduce all damage from long-range attacks by 50%. But even so, the damage caused by nearly 700 white foxes in the form of hell ghosts was still too severe. King Wuji Sword's blood volume dropped instantly. Fortunately, Zhou Ziyi transferred Qiandi Turui to Wuji Sword King in time, and then managed to withstand it again. I have to say, this is the benefit of dual tanks. After all the life-saving skills of the main tank are used up, the sub-tank can immediately jump on top to prevent the group from being wiped out. But the problem is that the King of Swordsman's sword can only last for a short 10 seconds. But if the remaining 1/3 of the white foxes attack again, they will still kill the rest. But at this moment, Zhou Ziyi's body was filled with purple light, flying into the sky. Lu Fan, you deal with the melee leopards and wolves, and I'll deal with the long-range white foxes. I saw Zhou Ziyi blast out with a palm. The wave of poisonous waves is overwhelming. A large-scale purple ocean shock wave surged towards the direction of the white fox group. This is the ultimate trick for Breaking Bad level 50. A wide range of straight-line penetration group damage skills. The terrifying poisonous injury wiped out all these white foxes in just a few seconds. Lu Fan was stunned at this moment. Good guy, if you have this skill, why don't you use it earlier? Then when Lu Fan's skill cooldown ended, he saw him coming to the pile of monsters being mocked by the ghost dog. One stroke of the nether flame pillar took them all away. At this time, all 5,000 monsters were finally wiped out. Everyone sat on the ground tiredly, gasping for air. It has to be said that this Shichuling mountain is indeed the strongest copy of the demonic mountains. Even before they even met the boss, they had already pushed everyone to this level. The strength of the people still on the team is indeed not weak. Otherwise, an ordinary team might not even be able to pass the first level of hell difficulty. But just when everyone took a breath of relief, the elf archer noticed something keenly, stood up suddenly, drew his bow and shot. Everyone looked in the direction of his attack. I actually saw a green ape sentry on the tree in the distance holding a whistle and blowing it accurately. Zhou Ziyi suddenly felt bad and exclaimed, "Oh no, this is also a new elite monster." At this time, the elf archer passed through with an arrow, but the damage was not enough and he did not kill it. The green ape sentry turned to look at everyone, smiled sinisterly, and whistled. And as the whistle sounded, a scene that shocked everyone happened. I saw that there was no clear light pillar like the previous one at the entrance of the towering cave. Instead, there were noisy and heavy footsteps. As these footsteps got closer and closer, even the whole earth began to tremble slightly. Finally, with everyone stunned, the boss of 3 Lion Tuoling actually walked out of the cave. Green-haired lion monster, yellow-tusked old elephant, Dapeng golden winged eagle. Each one is as big as a mountain. And behind these 3 bosses, there are actually tens of thousands of monsters of different shapes following him. At this moment, all 6 people, including Lu Fan, were dumbfounded. No one expected that the whistle of the Green Ape Sentinel would actually call the 3 bosses out of the cave. You must know that the status and skill cooldown of the King of Beasts and others have not been restored yet. What's even scarier is, behind these 3 bosses, there are actually tens of thousands of monsters. At this time, the green-haired lion monster standing at the front of the group of monsters glanced at Lu Fan and everyone, and laughed. A group of professionals who don't care about life and death dare to challenge the hell level difficulty with just this little fighting power, and they even have a level 20 rookie in the team. Are you looking down on us? Everyone was stunned again. What's the situation? Boss can not only talk, but also taunt. This spiritual wisdom is almost indistinguishable from a real person. While everyone was surprised, Lu Fan had already begun preparations for battle. He raised his hand and made all 3 ghost wolves in the distance enter the invisible state. Then he turned to the crowd and whispered softly, "All of you, run backwards and leave this place to me, otherwise you won't survive." After Lu Fan said that, he took a step forward, and the ghostly fire suddenly rose up in his right hand. "Yes, little lion, I just looked down on you, what do you think?" "What did you say? Boy, do you know who you are talking to? I swallowed 100,000 heavenly soldiers in one go." At this time, everyone behind him saw this and knew that Lu Fan was deliberately irritating the other party and giving them a chance to escape. Shadow Eater did not hesitate and was the first to run away. When the others saw this, they followed closely and fled towards the rear. After all, they are well aware of their own strength. Not only will they not be able to help Lu Fan if they stay, they may even drag him down. Only Zhou Ziyi still stood firmly behind Lu Fan. "Oh, I know little lion, but I still look down on you," Lu Fan said as he raised his hand and struck the ghost fire towards the green-haired Lion King. "I thought no matter what, I'd kill one first. Although this green-haired Lion King is a level 59 Lord level monster, and it has a significant increase in attributes at hell level difficulty. The life value is as high as terrifying tens of millions. But Lu Fan's mental power had increased by nearly 100,000 during the process of burning corpses. The Netherworld ghost fire's damage per second is also as high as nearly 8 million. Although it cannot be killed instantly, it is only a matter of time before it is burned to death. And the most important thing is that Lu Fan believes that these monsters have intelligence. In this way, his weak teammates can escape a little bit. But what Lu Fan didn't expect was, the next second, as soon as his own will-o'-the-wisp hit him, the green-haired Lion King opened his mouth and swallowed the ghost's will-o'-the-wisp directly into his belly. Good guy, isn't it said that this lion's mouth can swallow people? How come it can even swallow skills? I saw the green-haired Lion King throwing his head back and laughing. How dare you display your ugliness despite your small skills? Zhou Ziyi looked solemn at this time and said, "Lu Fan, be careful. In hell difficulty, these 3 monsters must have been strengthened a lot." Lu Fan turned around suddenly when he heard Zhou Ziyi's words. "No, why are you still here? Didn't I tell you to run away? I won't leave. I initiated this dungeon, and you took the risk for me. Now I can't leave you under any circumstances." After Zhou Ziyi said this, her whole body was filled with purple light and she was ready to fight. Lu Fan was stunned. He came here to clear the dungeon mainly to upgrade himself and increase his attributes. There was no reason to take the risk for anyone. "No, I said you. Just when Lu Fan was about to persuade him, the green-haired Lion King opened his big mouth again and swallowed Zhou Ziyi directly. I can still swallow people. Is this the blue-haired Lion King with hell-level difficulty? Lu Fan felt that something was not good, raised his hand and hit him with another ghostly fire. I don't believe your skill is not cooled down. But he didn't expect that this time a snow-white tiger would jump out from behind. Lu Fan raised his eyes and saw that it was a level 58 elite monster, Commander White Tiger. He waved his tiger claws in the air and summoned 1,000 white tiger monsters in front of him. The green-haired Lion King looked disdainful and laughed. Boy, that was your lover just now, a level 59 legendary SSS. No wonder he had the courage to take a loser like you with him. It's a pity that in front of me, the legendary SSS also swallowed it without fail. But if my sword doesn't kill the unknown people, trash like you, I won't take action myself. Commander Bai Hu, kill this kid and all the other teammates. Quote. As you command, Your Majesty. The leader of the White Tiger roared, and 1,000 white tiger monsters in front of him and tens of thousands of other monsters behind him all rushed towards Lu Fan like a tide. Seeing this, Lu Fan no longer hesitated, raised his hand and struck the ghostly fire towards Commander White Tiger. At the same time, he controlled 6 Hades dogs to surround him, using taunts to attract fire. Finally, but also the key point, Lu Fan commanded 3 invisible wolves to attack the blue-haired Lion King. But what surprised Lu Fan again was the golden-winged Dapeng standing next to the green-haired Lion King. It was actually a dark wolf that could see through invisibility. He was seen waving the square halberd with a painting pole in his hand, sweeping towards the 3 underworld wolves. Directly beat out the invisible wolf. Fortunately, the health of the Hades wolf was more than 2 million, so it was not killed instantly. It continued to charge towards the green-haired Lion King. But the green-haired Lion King opened his mouth again and swallowed all 3 Hades wolves. At this moment, Lu Fan finally realized that the green-haired Lion King could not only swallow one person, but multiple people. This skill is too abnormal. And it seems that the cooldown is not long. This guy is still fighting like this. However, at this moment, Lu Fan saw a purple glow in the stomach of the green-haired Lion King. At the same time, he also saw the situation in the stomach of the green-haired Lion King through the vision of the Hades wolf. It turned out that the green-haired Lion King's move was just to trap people in his stomach and cause continuous damage. But the creatures in the stomach can still move. It can be seen that the Hades wolf and Zhou Ziyi are both suffering from continuous damage of 100,000 points per second. However, Zhou Ziyi used the 1,000 butterflies to restore her blood, and at the same time was attacking the green-haired Lion King with poison. Lu Fan did not hesitate and controlled the 3 Hades wolves to attack the blue-haired Lion King. With just a few claws, the blue-haired Lion King's health was directly reduced to 50%. But at this moment, the blue-haired Lion King's whole body burst into blue light. Its body also entered a state where it could not be selected. After a few seconds, it turned into a huge blue lion. At this time, the other 2 boss, the yellow-fanged old elephant and the great Peng golden-winged eagle, were all stunned when they saw this. This level 29 kid actually beat the big brother to his original form. This kid is cheating. Second brother, third brother, don't underestimate the enemy. I saw the green-haired Lion King roaring loudly. Clear. The yellow-tusked old elephant and the Dapeng golden-winged eagle, who were still sitting and watching the show, both took out their weapons and prepared to kill Lu Fan together. Lu Fan sighed. As the green-haired Lion King was beaten back to his original shape, Zhou Ziyi and the 3 underworld wolves were spit out from his belly. You must know that the cooldown time for summoning the Stygian wolf is 120 seconds. Unless absolutely necessary, Lu Fan would not use this skill to reset the dark wolf. On the other hand, Lu Fan did not output blood during this period. One of the Hades dogs had been beaten to death, screaming and dissipating into a ball of green flames. At the same time, the yellow-tusked old elephant and the Dapeng golden-winged eagle also waved their weapons and came towards Lu Fan. Lu Fan had a sneer on his lips. The reason why he hasn't released his skills is because he has been waiting for this moment. Netherworld Flame Pillar. Only a bang was heard, and the green flames from Netherworld Purgatory soared into the sky. Not only did he instantly kill all the mocked monsters around him, but he also severely damaged the oncoming yellow-tusked old elephant and Dapeng golden-winged eagle. The health of the two BOSSs was also directly knocked out by 50%, triggering their passives and revealing their true colors. The giant elephant and the rock. This is a life-saving passive shared by the three major monsters in Sichuling. Without this passivity, these three BOSSs would have been instantly killed by Lu Fan just now. Looking at the three bosses in front of him who all turned into beast forms, Zhou Zi frowned and said, "It is indeed a hell-level difficulty. The transformation is triggered at 50%. In the previous difficulty, their health value did not transform until 10%. After the transformation, their various attributes will skyrocket again, especially their health value." Lu Fan looked at the tens of thousands of monsters that were still coming in the distance, and said calmly, "It doesn't matter if the attributes skyrocket. There shouldn't be any changes in skills or anything like that. The blue lion and the yellow elephant are nothing but that rock." Zhou Zi just finished speaking. "I saw the big rock flying in the air, opening its big mouth and spitting out a huge yellow-green bottle. Surprisingly, it is the yin and yang two gas bottles." A huge suction force burst out from the mouth of the bottle, sucking Lu Fan, 3 hell wolves, and 5 hell dogs all in. Lu Fan felt bad. Unexpectedly, these monsters are so intelligent that they can use strategies. You must know that this is a hell-level difficulty. Zhou Zi cannot handle the terrifying output of all the monsters. Seeing a large number of monsters rushing towards Zhou Zi's whole body was filled with purple light, and she once again unleashed the poison wave. A large purple wave surged towards the monster in front of him. However, the attributes and blood volume of these monsters far exceed those of the previous monsters on the first and second floors. The poisonous wave swept through, but not a single one died. Seeing a group of monsters rushing forward, they were about to launch an attack on Zhou Zi. The King of Beasts is back for a limited time. At this time, his skills have finished cooling down, and he directly uses the protective barrier and the Beast King's body protection. The skill has just finished cooling down. "Gang leader Zhou, are you okay?" Zhou Zi nodded gratefully. "Thank you very much." Far away at this time, the Martial Blade King, the Elf Archer, and the Shadow Soul Leader are all watching this closely. At this moment, they are out of the battle. You can exit a copy at any time. As long as they see that the war situation is not right, they will choose to leave at any time. And the King of Beasts could have quit at any time to save his life, just like them. But he still chose to rush over to protect Zhou Zi. "I can only hold on for 10 seconds. If Lu Fan doesn't come out after 10 seconds, we will be finished." Zhou Zi nodded. "It's okay, even if it means death, I will admit it, but I believe in Lu Fan, he will definitely lead us to win this battle." At the same time, Lu Fan discovered that the bottle itself actually had its own health value. In other words, just destroy the bottle's health points and break it, and he can get out. Without any nonsense, directly control the 3 wolves to attack the bottle. Immediately afterwards, he was constantly bombarded by ghost fire. You must know that the damage of the ghost fire can be superimposed, plus the terrifying damage of the 3 ghost wolves. It only took 3 seconds to smash the yin and yang cylinders apart. This scene once again made the 3 demons of the lion and camel look stupid. You must know that this yin and yang gas bottle is an ancient secret treasure, and its health value is as high as hundreds of millions. The original function is to trap people inside for 10 seconds and continuously cause huge amounts of damage. When the time is up, the people inside will be released. With the blessing of hell difficulty, the duration will be extended to 20 seconds and the damage will be doubled. Although it is true that you can force it out by breaking the bottle. But with hundreds of millions of health points, it is impossible for ordinary professionals to crush it in 20 seconds. It is even said that it is very difficult for most people to survive in it for 20 seconds and survive. But now Lu Fan not only smashed the bottle, but he also only took 3 seconds. You can imagine how terrifying this kid's damage output is. After Lu Fan came out, he looked up and found that the remaining nearly 10,000 monsters had gathered near the King of Beasts. No nonsense. When he came to the King of Beasts, he raised his hand and struck a pillar of Netherworld flames, taking them all away. Seeing that something was not going well, the giant yellow-tusked elephant extended its trunk to control Lu Fan again. But this control is still soft control. It can only restrict Lu Fan's body, but he can still cast spells. I saw Lu Fan controlling 3 hell wolves and rushing towards the green lion to attack. He himself hit the giant elephant with a ghostly fire. As soon as its wings were raised, a blast of wind hit Zhou Zi. Everyone suddenly felt bad. You must know that this is the hell level transformed Dapeng. Just one move is enough to kill everyone except Lu Fan. Fortunately, King Wuji's sword also rushed over at this time. He used his horizontal sword to immediately block the blast of wind. And Lu Fan also took the opportunity to hit him with the ghost fire. But he didn't expect that Dapeng was so fast that he could dodge the ghostly fire in a flash. I saw him laughing in the air. Boy, although you have some strength, you can't do anything to me with your skills. Lu Fan was slightly startled and realized that this was really the case. Netherworld Willow Fire, Netherworld Flame Pillar, Netherworld Wolf, all can't hit this high-speed flying rock. But Dapeng can continuously use the blast of wind to attack and kill everyone below him from a distance. Seeing Lu Fan's stunned expression, Dapeng couldn't help but let out a sharp laugh. Boy, stop struggling. The hell level Shituling is not something weaklings like you can pass. You have no idea about the difficulty of this dungeon. The rock flapped its wings, and another blast of wind blasted past. Fortunately, the Wuji Sword King's condition has not disappeared and he can still block it, but not for long. At this moment, the giant yellow-tusked elephant was finally burned to death by the ghost fire, and its huge body hit the ground heavily. The control on Lu Fan was released and he fell back to the ground. Golden-winged Dapeng, you are too happy too early. Do you really think I can't do anything to you? Lu Fan smiled coldly, raised his hand and pressed it hard to the ground. Netherworld Entanglement. Netherworld Entanglement. A new skill that Lu Fan learned when he broke through level 20. Substantial netherworld flames can grow on the ground and wrap around the target, making it unable to move and causing spiritual damage of 4000% per second, lasting 3 seconds, mana consumption 30,000, cooling time 20 seconds. The reason why it has not been used before is because the cooldown time of this skill is a bit long and it must be used at important moments. That is at this moment. I saw Lu Fan's right hand pressing hard to the ground, and a terrifying hell flame rose into the sky and blasted towards the golden-winged rock. The effect of this skill is actually the same as that of the nether flame pillar. However, the golden-winged rock soared in the air at great speed, easily dodging the hellish flames. Ha ha ha, boy, it's impossible for you to hit me with this range of damage. Just give up on this. Obviously, the golden-winged rock at this moment also regarded this move as the netherworld flame pillar. However, Lu Fan smiled coldly. It's not over yet. The words fell. This dragon-like hell flame actually twisted in the air, and as if it had intelligence, it turned and chased after the golden-winged rock. The golden-winged rock was stunned when he saw this. It's actually a locked skill. How can a level 20 rookie have this type of skill? This is impossible. The golden-winged rock couldn't believe it, and immediately flapped its wings and ran away at high speed. However, the speed of the netherworld entanglement is getting faster and faster. Even though the speed of the golden-winged rock was so fast that it could not be seen clearly with the naked eye, it still could not escape the pursuit of the ghost entanglement. In just a few seconds, his whole body was wrapped in netherworld flames and he fell from the sky. At the same time, Qingxi was also surrounded by 3 ghost wolves and knocked to the ground. When everyone else saw this, they all let out huge cheers. Zhou Zi even ran over excitedly, hugged Lu Fan, and kissed him hard on the face. However, Zhou Zi found that Lu Fan's expression was still serious and showed no intention of relaxing. It seems that he is still facing a formidable enemy. What's wrong, Lu Fan? Isn't it all solved? Why are you still? Lu Fan looked solemn and shook his head. That's wrong. Why didn't the HP of these 3 bosses return to 0, but still showed 1%? What? As soon as Lu Fan said this, Zhou Zi and everyone else were stunned, and they all looked at the 3 bosses lying on the ground. Zhou Zi also reacted at this moment. That's right. The system did not give a prompt for the completion of the dungeon, and no equipment items were dropped from the corpses of the 3 boss. Lu Fan nodded. That's right. These bosses are probably not dead yet. Zhou Zi was slightly startled. Can it be said that there is still passiveness? As soon as he finished speaking, an extremely dazzling golden light burst out from the bodies of the three boss. At the same time, above the demonic mountains, a cloud turtle as big as a small island was flying slowly in the sky. And on top of the giant turtle, stood the forces of the Dark Temple and Longxing world. Long Badian, the gang leader of Longxingtianxia, said with a flattering smile. He is truly worthy of being the helmsman of the Dark Temple. He can even take this Sky Island cloud turtle under his command. At this time, a rickety old man with a grimace standing next to the helmsman of the Dark Temple sneered. The Rudder Master is the #1 beast tamer in Jiangnan. As long as the monsters are lower than level 80, the Rudder Master can tame them at will, even some Lord-level monsters. I see. No wonder this elite monster-level Sky Island cloud turtle is willing to become the helmsman's means of transportation. It's really awesome. Long Badian praised without hesitation. Okay, stop talking nonsense. Have you sent me the location of Lu Fan and his group? The helmsman of the Dark Temple said angrily. The purpose of his trip was to kill Lu Fan and obtain the Ring of Hades in his hand. The reason for cooperating with Long Xingtianxia was simply to obtain the whereabouts of Lu Fan. Long Badian took out his phone and refreshed the chat list. Because it is located in the demonic mountains, the signal is extremely unstable and the list is always loading. Before he finished speaking, Long Badian only felt the phone in his hand vibrate. Message received successfully. Coming. Long Badian opened his phone and took a look, with a proud look on his face. He handed the phone to the helmsman of the Dark Temple and said with a flattering smile. Report to the helmsman, Lu Fan, Zhou Zi and their party are currently challenging the Shichuling dungeon. Shichuling. The helmsman of the Dark Temple took the phone and looked at it, but his expression was slightly startled. It was written on the mobile phone that Lu Fan was challenging the Shichuling dungeon, with a hellish level of difficulty. When Long Badian saw this, he thought that the leader of the Dark Temple did not recognize this copy of Shichuling and immediately explained. Master Helmsman, this Shichuling is the strongest dungeon in the demonic mountains. I have taken people there to challenge it several times. I am familiar with the road. I can show you the way. Shichuling dungeon, no one knows him better than me. Especially this hell difficulty, I will never forget it in this life. The Dark Helmsman was dressed in black robes and had an evil ghost mask on his face, making it impossible to see his expression clearly. But Long Badian could feel something unusual in his tone. Master Helmsman, my little brother is not strong enough. I can only challenge the difficult level normally. I wonder what is different about this hell level. The leader of the Dark Temple handed the phone back to Long Badian and sneered, the hell difficulty Shichuling is the real Shichuling. Even a strong team of 70 or 80 levels may not dare to challenge it. Lu Fan and his group actually dare to challenge this level of difficulty. I'm afraid they will die inside without me taking action this time. Quote. At this time, the rickety old man beside the helmsman suddenly spoke. Master Helmsman, if Lu Fan really wants to die inside, then this matter may be difficult to handle. The helmsman of the Dark Temple nodded. He knew very well that if a professional was killed by a monster in a dangerous zone, he would be killed. Then all the items and equipment it carries will be picked up by the monsters in the copy. These things will fall out together with the next time the monster is killed by a professional. In other words, if Lu Fan died in the hell level Shichuling, then if they want to get the ring, they must clear the dungeon of the same difficulty again. I hope this kid Lu Fan will be smart and withdraw after finishing the second floor. Otherwise, we can only ask the temple for help. After all, even I can't easily deal with the last 3 giant Buddhas. At the same time, in the copy of Shichuling, the bodies of the 3 BOSSs are bursting with golden light. And above this dazzling light, the 3 gods and Buddhas with golden lights on their heads fell slowly. Lu Fan looked up and was completely stunned. I saw that these 3 gods and Buddhas were surprisingly Manjushri, Samantabhadra, and Tathagata Buddha. What's even more terrifying is that all of them are level 100. Lu Fan and the others were all dumbfounded. What's going on? Isn't this a level 55 dungeon? How come there are level 100 gods and Buddhas? Zhou Zi also covered her mouth and exclaimed. This is absolutely not possible in the difficult level. The rest of the people were also shocked by the momentum of these 3 giant Buddhas and dared not breathe. Shadow Eater even decisively chose to quit the team and leave the dungeon. I was afraid that I would die inside if I was too late. At this time, among the three great Buddhas, Manjushri Bodhisattva was the first to laugh. The highest is only level 59, and the lowest is level 29. It's really surprising that such a weak team can force the three of us out. Puxian Bodhisattva also nodded. To be able to reach this level at this level, there must be a hidden profession among these people. Tathagata Buddha smiled and shook his head. I'm afraid it's more than that. As I expected, this hidden professional should have an unleveled artifact on his body. I'm right, this young man at level 29. Tathagata Buddha looked at Lu Fan, his dark gaze seemed to penetrate the soul. At the same time, the green lion, white elephant, and rock that fell to the ground all stood up again. Under the illumination of Buddha's light, his health began to gradually recover. Qingxi roared angrily. These professionals are too arrogant, please master, please stand up for us. Tathagata Buddha laughed and said, well, young man, I see that you have a good relationship with Buddha. Why don't we come to the Western Paradise together and listen to my preaching and teachings? The words fell. The three giant Buddhas took action at the same time, gently pushing forward with one palm. This palm seems to be light and gentle, but the power within it is terrifying to the extreme. Lu Fan hurriedly used Summon Hell Dog to reset the status of the 6 Hell Dogs. But even so, the opponent is a level 100 strong man. It is the highest level known to this world. If these 3 palms all hit, I really don't know if these 6 Hades dogs can resist it. At the same time, the elf shooter standing at the farthest end could not bear the pressure and was preparing to leave the dungeon before he was hit. But just when he was about to quit the team and leave the team, an even weirder scene happened. I saw the Netherworld god of death holding a sickle appearing above the heads of the 3 boss. The 3 gods of death were faceless and formless, with only their black cloaks swaying in the wind. Lu Fan was overjoyed. I thought that the 3 bosses could not be selected just now, so I delayed the trigger. And with the appearance of the god of death, the 3 bosses seemed to have had their souls pulled away, and their eyes were frozen in place. The attack of the 3 giant Buddhas also stopped abruptly and stagnated in midair. At this moment, it seemed as if everything in the copy had stopped. Only the 3 death gods slowly raised their scythes and swept towards the target in front of them. The 3 bosses completely lost their vitality and fell straight to the ground. And with the death of the 3 bosses, the brilliance of the 3 gods and Buddhas gradually dissipated. They were summoned passively by these 3 bosses. After the 3 bosses died, they naturally disappeared. Just before disappearing, I heard Tathagata Buddha laughing loudly. The contempt of Hades, the king of Hades, has been long gone. Then it completely disappeared. When Lu Fan heard this, he was startled. Long time no see, what do you mean? And he would recognize it as the scorn of Hades. Could it be that someone has used it before? Could it be the mother? Lu Fan suddenly realized that his mother might have climbed the hell level Shatu Ridge before she was alive. Maybe these 3 great demons and 3 great Buddhas will know something about his mother. And just when Lu Fan was stunned, all I could hear was a ding 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 sound all around. Looking up, he saw that a lot of equipment items had fallen from the 3 bosses. Everyone was overjoyed when they saw it and immediately went up to pick it up. Generally speaking, ordinary items dropped in the dungeon will be randomly distributed to the people in the team no matter who picks them up. But if it is a top quality item, then the captain will choose how to distribute it. If it is top quality equipment, then the general captain will assign it to the corresponding profession. And if it is other general purpose high quality items, then the captain will usually choose to randomly distribute them. At this time, there was a golden beam of light on Qingxi's body. Lu Fan raised his eyes and saw that it was a level 55 legendary weapon, the Qingxi Great Sword. White Elephant also exploded with a piece of golden legendary heavy armor. A pair of golden legendary shoes burst out from Da Peng's body. In addition, there are many precious materials, magic weapons and less epic equipment. However, everyone did not rush to pick it up. Instead, they all looked at Lu Fan. After all, for them, the credit for this copy was basically all due to Lu Fan. They just follow the experience of eating and sharing some ordinary items, and they are very satisfied. If Lu Fan wanted these legendary equipment, no one would compete with him. However, Lu Fan smiled indifferently and said that he didn't want the equipment and they could just divide it themselves. When everyone heard this, they all burst into tears of gratitude. You know, level 55 and legendary equipment from Shichuling is very rare for them. Zhou Ziyi didn't waste any time and directly assigned the sword to the Wuji Sword King of the corresponding profession. The heavy armor was given to the King of Beasts, and the shoes were given to the elf archer. As for the Shadow Soul Leader who left the team, she naturally had no part in it. It's a pity that the yin and yang 2 gas bottles that Zhou Ziyi wanted were not exploded this time. At this moment, the system prompt sounded. Congratulations to the professional for successfully clearing the dungeon. The clearance time is 9 minutes and 34 seconds, and the rating is SSS. Earn 5,500 copy points. The dungeon is about to close, with a countdown of 60 seconds. Whether the professional chooses to leave immediately. 1. Leave immediately. 2. Leave later. Zhou Ziyi looked at the items on the ground and didn't finish picking them up, so she naturally chose to leave later. But what surprised her was that they were so fast this time and didn't break the dungeon record. System, check the shortest record of clearance time for this copy. The shortest record of clearing the Shichuling Hell level difficulty is 6 minutes and 54 seconds, and the record holder is the team led by Sword Master Li Mobai. Sword Master Li Mobai, the strongest professional in China. It's actually him. Sword Master Li Mobai. Everyone in China knows the strongest man. 10 years ago, a large number of monsters emerged from the endless abyss in western China and invaded China. Li Mobai was dressed in white and stood proudly at the head of the Western Rune Great Wall. With one person and one sword, he killed 10 level 90 monster leaders in a row. He forcefully knocked these monsters back into the abyss. Sword Master Li Mobai, 6 minutes, it's interesting. Lu Fan smiled lightly. Ziyi, I'm going to come in and brush it again later. I'll help you brush the yin and yang 2 gas bottles, and break the record by the way. Ziyi nodded. Thank you, if you really help me get it. Ziyi said, looking at the other teammates who were picking up things, and stretched her jade hand directly to Lu Fan's lower body. Tonight, I will serve you well and make you feel comfortable. Hiss. Lu Fan felt the numbness coming from his lower body, and his hands unconsciously rubbed towards Zhou Ziyi's tall peak. He leaned into his ear and whispered, "Tell me why you like this yin-yang 2 gas bottle so much. Although this thing is a good control magic weapon, it seems not that precious compared to the legendary golden equipment. You know, although magic weapon props are better than ordinary consumable props. Can be used an unlimited number of times. But if it is damaged in battle, it will disappear. It is even said that in a fierce battle, once the magic weapon is used, it will basically end up damaged. So compared with one-time consumable props, it's actually not much different." Zhou Ziyi groaned when Lu Fan rubbed her, then smiled and shook her head. "Don't worry about it, I'm useful anyway. Gang leader Zhou, everything has been picked up, we can leave." Just when Lu Fan and Zhou Ziyi looked at each other and were about to kiss, the King of Beasts suddenly interrupted them. Zhou Ziyi also coughed lightly when he saw this. "Well, are you all okay? If so, we'll be ready to go out." At this moment, the elf archer suddenly ran over and asked. Lu Fan nodded. "That's right, but for the sake of efficiency this time, I plan to do it alone, and I won't take you with me. I'm really sorry." Upon hearing this, the elf shooter quickly took something out of his backpack and handed it to Lu Fan. Brother Lu Fan, I'll give this to you. Can you take it with me later? I don't want any of the dropped items. I just need some experience. I'll be leveling up soon." Lu Fan took the thing and took a look. He was shocked. It was actually a 3rd level breakthrough certificate. "Good guy, why didn't you take out this thing earlier? If I break through level 30, how could I have fought so hard just now?" But of course this is just internal complaint. Lu Fan's emotional intelligence is not that low. Although this 3rd level breakthrough certificate is not that rare for Lu Fan now. But it also saved him a lot of time. "Yes, I have collected the things. If you are not afraid of death later, I can take you with me again." The elf archer smiled and nodded. "Thank you, brother Lu Fan." Although the elf archer looked like he was about to die in the battle just now. But in fact, he still has many life-saving skills and props that he has not used. With the experience of the last battle, he is more confident that he can survive this time. After Lu Fan got the breakthrough certificate, he didn't waste any time and used it directly. In an instant, I saw a bright light all over my body, and golden light pillars soared into the sky. Level 3 breakthrough successful. Due to the overflow of experience, the level will be directly raised to level 39. All attributes will be plus 500, and the free attribute points will be increased by plus 2000. After the third level, every level up, all attributes plus 50, free attribute points plus 200. Netherworld Ghost Fire Upgrade. Ghost Fire Level 4 causes mental damage of 2500% per second, lasting 50 seconds, mana consumption, 4000, cooling time 0.7 seconds. Netherworld Flame Pillar Upgrade. Summon Hades Dog Upgrade. Summon Hell Dog Level 2 summons 2 Hell Dogs to assist in the battle. The magic value consumption is 12,000, and the cooling time is 50 seconds. Netherworld Coil Upgrade. Netherworld Coil Level 2 grows substantial netherworld flames on the ground to entangle the target, making it unable to move and causing mental damage 5000% per second, lasting 4 seconds, mana consumption, 60,000, cooling time 18 seconds. Summon the Wolf to upgrade. Comprehensive Summoning Skill. Summon Stylish Wolf 2 summons a Stygian wolf to assist in the battle. The magic value consumption is 100,000, and the cooling time is 110 seconds. Multiple Summon Upgrades. Multiple Summons Level 2 the number of summoned beasts for all summoning skills 6. Comprehensive Active Skill. Netherworld Fire Rain Level 1 summons a large amount of netherworld fire rain to fall from the sky, causing area damage of spiritual asterisk 6000% per second to the designated area, lasting 5 seconds, mana consumption, 500,000, cooling time 60 seconds. Understand the summoning skills. Summon the Hades Level 1 to summon a netherworld flying creature, the Hades to assist in the battle. The magic value is 20,000 and the cooling time is 240 seconds. Looking at the two newly learned skills, Lu Fan couldn't help but nodded with satisfaction. Netherworld Fire Rain. Finally, I have a long-range and large-scale killing skill. After adding all the free attribute points to his spirit, he signaled Xiaozi to leave the copy quickly. He can't wait to try out his new skills. At the same time, copy outside. The huge island cloud turtle has arrived above the entrance to the instance. The huge figure covered the sky and the sun, like darkness covering the earth. Long Bodian, who was standing on the cloud turtle, was talking on his mobile phone. Xiaohei, what's going on? Why are you the only one out? Lu Fan and the others are here. The entrance to the copy. Shadow Eater, who escaped first, was also talking on his cell phone. Yes, Shadow Eater was the undercover agent Long Bodian inserted into Zhou Zi's team. Tell the gang leader that I saw 3 huge gods and Buddhas inside. Those people may have died inside. Since the phone was amplified, the leader of the Dark Temple on the side could hear it clearly. If the 3 Buddhas come to this world, Lu Fan and his group will have no chance of escaping. The helmsman of the Dark Temple turned to look at the old man with a rickety face beside him, and sighed. Illusionist, inform the temple headquarters and ask them to send reinforcements to the entrance of Shichualing in the demonic mountains. The rickety old man known as the illusionist was startled, shook his head and said, Captain, are you sure? If the group of people from the headquarters are involved, I'm afraid this credit. Jia. At this time, Lu Moji, who was in the crowd, suddenly laughed out loud. 2 adults, please don't forget that Bai Jia thought the same way at the beginning, and then she sought death. I hope you two will never make the same mistake again. Lu Moji knew very well at this time, even though it was him who provided the information. But as long as the leader of Jiangnan province gets involved, he will definitely lose most of the credit. In that case, the key is to ensure that the task is successfully completed and the soup is successfully drunk. And for some reason, he still felt a little uneasy at the moment. I always felt that that kid Lu Fan might not die that easily. As the saying goes, whatever you fear will come to you. As soon as Lu Moji finished speaking, a SSSSSSSS sound came from the entrance to the dungeon. Everyone looked up and looked down. It was discovered that Lu Fan and his party were teleported out of the dungeon safe and sound. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.